Hello. Welcome
Hello.
back. We are live. Welcome to the Mover and Gonky Show, live streaming once again on my channel. We're going to talk about that in a second because ruffled a few feathers. Gonky.
Some questions. Definitely some questions.
There are some questions about that. But first, welcome to our viewers on Gonky's channel, my channel, Facebook.
Everywhere.
Welcome, Douglas.
Welcome.
Gonky, how you been, man? Nice mug. Why do you not have a Mover and Gonky Show mug?
It's on order.
Is it really?
Okay, that's a lie. But I need to order one.
The Christmas tree ornament on the magnificent festive tree, which we're 1 week away from Christmas. We're still waiting to find out if permission has been granted for a Christmas episode or not.
Yeah, I'm waiting for high command to see if I will be allowed to participate.
Jeez.
So I don't quite have the command authority that Mover does in his castle. So
yeah. Well, welcome, Douglas. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Doug.
You bet.
All right. So the elephant in the room. So first of all, thank you to the members. I did this week, and boy, like you get some nasty comments from people that get angry that you're doing membership. So here's the backstory. We started this in July, right? Gonky-ish. It was July. It's 25 episodes, by the way, which we got a voice message that is thanking us. So we'll get to that in a minute. Nice. But we started this in July, and I had taken some time off from everything after, some disappointing military news. It was looking like it was kind of, things were not going well. And Firefox, we'd gotten the copyright strikes, and the things were not, the numbers were down. So we started the live stream, and after a while, we kind of noticed that the numbers, the analytics, and that's what we're talking about, views, because as much as I love doing this, what makes this able to be repeated is the fact that people watch it. People don't watch it, you're just talking to yourself, and I'd like to have a successful show. And so what we noticed, thank you. What we noticed was that on my channel, the numbers were not relative to the size of the channel. they had not gone back to even before when I made one video a week or 2 videos a week. And we were putting out a ton of content. And I thought arguably it was good content. I mean, we were doing some pretty good stuff. And so I did some research, and then one day Angry Cops, which I follow, I think it's funny, they put out some good stuff. One day Angry Cops put out a post, and he talked about how lives were killing his channel. And I'm like, lives are killing your channel? And he made a thing about, well, should I start a new channel? So should I move to Rumble? Should I move somewhere else? Because YouTube punishes live. And I started doing some research, and I found out that is, well, it's like everything else with the algorithm. It depends. It's some people say it is. Nobody really knows how the thing works. And if you talk to YouTube chat, the customer support, they'll tell you, oh, all is working as planned. All is good. They won't tell you what's wrong with your channel.
No.
So I told Gonky, I'm like, dude, this is unsustainable. Like, we're doing a ton of work. Nobody's watching. I don't get it. And so the idea was for the month of December, we were going to stop. At least on my channel, because Gonky, it's got 30,000 subscribers. There was no channel. And it's growing. Your channel was growing. Like, it was the first time I had ever seen negative growth on the channel. Usually you get, 10, 15 subscribers, 100 a week. At one point it was a lot, but 1,000 a month or whatever wasn't unreasonable. But I was in the negative growth, and I did not understand that. So he said, okay, look, first phase is we're going to stop live altogether and just see what the numbers would do. And then what was the second thing we were going to do?
We're going to keep running it live on my channel just to see.
Yeah, just to see the comparison.
Yeah.
2 weeks is all it took to figure out that views increased by 40% just by not going live. Yeah. Same content, same kind of stuff. It wasn't anything, there wasn't any one video or anything, but across the board, the numbers increased. And so in doing the research, I discovered that channel memberships could be a fix. Now, historically, I've hated the idea of memberships. I know people don't like it, and I didn't do Patreon because I was like, what am I going to offer? What am I going to offer people that they can't just go watch? Right. And I didn't like the idea. However, when I looked at memberships, number one, the live streams and the VOD, because those are the two things that count against for this. Because what I've come to understand is when you do a live stream and you've got a big channel and only 1,000 people watch, YouTube looks at it and is like, that's an indicator that things are not going well. I'm going to stop recommending the whole channel, because obviously he's putting out stuff that those viewers don't care about. And the same thing with the on-demand part, because nobody wants to watch a 2.5-hour video, and that's affecting everything. So I looked at the options and I said, okay, what do I have to offer viewers? Because I've got some great viewers and I've got some people that are returning, and I'm very appreciative of that. How can I make this as simple and as easy as possible? So I said, okay, I'm going to use the 3-tier system, just like YouTube recommends. And the first tier is $1, 99 cents. And that gets you access to watch the VOD, the video on demand, and the live stream. You can't comment, but you can watch. So that's $0.25 an episode. It's 25 cents plus mover mailbags, because I had to give it a tier. So I wanted the lowest tier to be like, hey, you chip in $1, you can watch live if that's what you want to do. Because not many people actually really want to watch the live compared to what they want to watch the clips. Then the second tier, which I didn't have the naming convention was Wingman the Flight Lead. Flight Lead was you could watch the on demand. And then I'm like, well, okay, I got to give them something else. So let's give them that plus the ability to chat. So, I mean, that's you're no longer using super chats now, right? Because now you have that ability to chat, because hopefully we can see on here. This is our first time trying it. And you get videos before they're live. So like I did a reaction video to a Bollywood film for tomorrow, and the people in the Flight League category have been able to watch it since last week, and all the videos. So as soon as they're done, they get to watch it early. And then I was like, well, what's a third tier? And so the third tier was, I was like, well, let's kind of figure this out. You get early access, but then you also get videos that I probably wouldn't otherwise upload, like full length stuff, like DCS, right? DCS videos, if I do that, it's like 5 to 10 minutes. People don't watch beyond that. But sometimes people want to watch the full length stuff. So that was an opportunity to give exclusive content to allow the long form videos. Like if we do flying again, can do full flying videos instead of just 20 minutes. You're not appeasing an algorithm at that point. You're just doing it really for the fans, which I think is cool. And is it self-serving to say fans? I don't know what else you'd call them. But then also I've got a Discord channel, and that I think is the difference is once you go to that level, it's $10, which is way cheaper than just about anybody else does. You get the Discord channel, and then you can chat. We can talk, and if you got ideas for the show, we can talk about that. So it wasn't something where I was like, hey, I need to make more money, because honestly, for a super chat, those were doing way better, as Gonky knows. But I wanted to have the ability to still have the people that watch this channel without crushing everything.
Yeah, we're just trying to find a way to keep Mover from being penalized by doing the live stuff.
Yeah.
And this hopefully this works.
Yeah. So like here, Laura is one of our subscribers that can chat. So you can call us your minions. I don't know about that. But anyway, but on Gonky's channel, and so that's the thing, Gonky's channel, it's still there because we decided not to do it. Now, granted, in order to chat with us on Gonky's channel, you're going to have to do the super chat.
Yep.
But, just trying to figure it out. It is more complicated.
It's an evolving show.
Yeah. Well, we're doing something that most shows don't do, because most shows are single point, single source, and all that. We thought this was the easiest way to do it. Right. And there's also no interaction. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah. Dave says, LOL.
Very nice.
Moving on to breaking news. Anything else to add about that, Gonky? I don't know what to say.
Man. If any of you guys
people are mad, dude. I'm telling you, I got some, like, what was confusing to me is people would comment when I made that announcement. They're like, I'm unsubscribing altogether.
Yeah.
It's like,
I saw some of that on my channel. I had to explain it, but hey, if anybody out there knows a better way to not be penalized by algorithms, we're all ears.
Well, so people did say, hey, why don't you do a second channel? But then nobody, then it's like, you can't expect to drag people around from channel to channel to channel, and creating a new channel is like, I just did it. I just did it with the Life with Mover channel that became the Luna channel. It takes forever to get, a
lot of work,
enough followers that anybody watches anything. It's very tough. It's a very high barrier to entry. And I didn't think that was a viable option. And then Rumble, nobody watches Rumble. Like we were dual streaming on Rumble and Twitter and all. Nobody's watching it. This is the only place people even watch. So I'm appreciative of the people that have done the memberships. We got members only posts and stuff like that. Maybe we can grow a community. I'm
appreciative of everybody watching.
Yeah.
So
anyway, moving on to breaking news.
Oh boy.
The Iranian aviation and space headquarters had an explosion today. And yeah, so here you go.
Need a Google Translate.
At least their sirens don't sound European.
Sounds like more than one explosion.
I'll be honest. Without somebody telling me that that's what we were watching, it's just a bunch of this could be
at
the
gun
first
range.
couple days of OIF.
Right.
It could be like, this is shock and awe. We got this, because it doesn't mean anything to me. I will say, however, probably shouldn't be supplying the Houthis with cruise missiles if you don't want your stuff to blow up.
Yeah,
probably not a good idea.
Just get along,
proxy wars. Like, look, we're trying to be friends with you. Your people are cool. Your leaders are kind of crappy, but your people are cool, and we love the Tomcat.
Yeah, we want to sell them Tomcats again.
I want to buy one of their Tomcats. It's flyable. Things are happening. But if you're gonna launch drones and cruise missiles at our people and fund terrorists, it's gonna be hard to be friends.
Yeah. I'm just hoping I'd rather see de-escalating events than escalating events, and this is well,
Yeah. So anyway, there's your deep intel for the day. breaking deep intel.
super deep.
Speaking of deep intel, Callum says can't be mad at the price you set. Yeah, I mean, there you go. And then definitely worth the money. Love you guys' content. And then of course we've got the standard. Ryan says, who would you pick? Who would be your pick for a stole fight? Why would flight? I kind of like the Husky.
Air cam. I love the air cam.
Is he, when he says the Husky, is he talking about Fat Amy?
No, the airplane, man. Like
I thought we decided that she's Husky now because that was the last article.
Yeah, but stole, right? Short takeoff and landing.
Yeah,
like,
but
like a regular. Are
Fat
we talking
Amy-
regular airplanes? Are we talking?
Fat Amy does Stovel.
Not really. I mean, the Marine one
does it off the jump jet.
Yeah, but the Air Force one doesn't, or the Navy one doesn't. I don't know. I like the air cam. Yeah, that's a Husky.
That's a Husky. I flew an air cam.
You flew an air cam?
I flew an air cam.
The twin engine Rotax?
Yes.
You didn't tell me that. When did you fly an air cam?
Oh, hold on. I did it for my check ride last year.
How have we not talked about this?
We did talk about it. Gonky, it's like everything else, dude. You forget.
No, I think no. Now you sound like my wife, dude.
I mean, dude, we talked about Christmas. You're like, no, we're not doing Christmas. I'm like, well, we're pretty sure we talked about it.
Oh, dude, it's all the VA disabilities I have.
It's you know what I think it is. It's your post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD, yes, of course.
Yeah. See if I got a video.
If anyone from the FAA is listening, it causes me no problems. So
yeah. I don't know if we can hold on. I'm going to present this to you as a video file.
Can you show it? Oh yeah. Dang. I have no recollection.
You remember this?
I'm so jealous. Dude. That's awesome.
So this was my check ride, my commercial check ride in the helicopter.
But that's not a helicopter.
Correct. We flew the R-44 to Acadiana.
Oh.
And when the check ride was over, he's like, okay, you passed. You want to go fly my air cam?
Oh, dude.
And we flew the air cam to, I think it was Jennings. So we flew flew low or around or whatever, which was really cool. And then we landed at his hangar and he let me drive his Corvette.
Oh, dude. You know what? I've never had a check ride that cool. So,
well,
that's awesome,
man.
Awesome. I'm jealous.
He's a great guy. He's really cool. I mean, now granted, this was after I passed. So there was this was, if I had failed, probably, he didn't promise this before.
Yeah.
This was, you've passed. Let's go. And dude, that thing, the winds, like it was crazy. I mean, I can't believe we didn't talk about this.
Maybe we did, and I don't remember, but that's my favorite. Like that's on the bucket list for me. I mean, there's some great YouTube videos from the manufacturer who makes it, like it doing single engine takeoffs, like within like 50.
Yeah, he told me about it, and like the performance of the thing is crazy.
Yeah, and it burns like 3 gallons an hour or something like that. But yeah.
This was us. Look at that thing.
There you go. Off to the heavens. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have flown the air cam. I've also flown a Ronca Champ. Is that a stole aircraft? Is that considered stole?
Champ? I don't know, man. I don't know. I know for sure the Husky is.
It's considered slow.
Yeah, the Champ is
considered slow. Dude, you can't be a fighter pilot without looking cool, even if you're in an air cam. Just so you know, in case there are any questions.
I love it. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, that's a good question. That was good. When do I get my B2 ride along? I think once you join Newsweek.
I think you got to go to UPT.
No, you can join Newsweek and the news organization and do it that way.
Yep.
David says Tomcats.
Tomcats.
Irish says Gonky. Been looking forward to this from Snoop Roach. She's even got a picture of Snoop Dogg. Hi, guy.
How you doing, man?
Also, Tomcats. I would like to order a Luna mug. We need to do that, dude. Should we put
Luna mugs? Yeah.
Should I put a Luna Bell on a mug?
Yeah, like the coin image, man. You should put that on a mug.
That is the coin image.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't know.
Do it.
Hi, guy. We already did that one. Finishing up finals. It's nice to unwind with this podcast. My higher command. Well, let me watch on Christmas. So Merry Christmas. Happy 25 episodes. High command.
Garrett can't watch. We're just not going to do it.
Yeah. There's your excuse, Gonky. That's your way out.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah. Valley, we all got to eat. Appreciate your time in making content. It's really not even about the money.
No.
It's just lives were killing it. I mean, just straight up massacring. Everything was like you're losing subscribers. Nobody was watching. It was pretty depressing.
Yeah.
And then.
Oh, what's it?
What does it say?
What was that?
50K to reveal your call sign. It's not about the money on that one.
Yeah.
That's about the cancellation of.
Correct. It will just be the mover show.
If they don't like Charles Yeager, they're not for sure going to like that.
No.
And then janitor's back. If we subscribe, do we find out where Gonky's call sign came from? Why are people obsessed with that? Interviewed Doug about working on the show. Mover Luna coffee cups. Tell us all about the FA-50s going to Malaysia. Hey, we've got a voice message. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yep. Yeah, Franklin. We'll get to the FA-50.
And he does say, yeah, it's like the prop plane.
Thanks, Ryan.
Greetings from an old paratrooper.
Thanks, man.
Now you sound like his wife. Mover gets his romance after all. Jeez, man.
Finally.
Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. Cheap, give up the good work. And then fair price. It's a good way to support the channel. All right. Let's move on to our next. We'll get to some more in a minute. Douglas, do you have the GE? Hopefully you're smarter than both of us and you actually understand what this means. GE makes breakthrough in hypersonic propulsion.
I think I highlighted the parts that will help us all understand. GE Aerospace says it successfully demonstrated an advanced jet propulsion concept that involves a dual-mode ramjet design utilizing rotating detonation combustion. This could offer a pathway to the development of new aircraft and missiles capable of flying efficiently at high supersonic and even hypersonic speeds. Everybody's hot on hypersonic across long distances. It's believed to be the world first hypersonic dual-mode ramjet rig test with rotating detonation combustion in a supersonic flow stream. Hypersonic is defined as anything above Mach 5, in case you needed to know that. Okay, so this, I think, is the part that matters. A typical air-breathing DMR-J propulsion system can only begin operating, so that would be a traditional ramjet, can only begin operating when the vehicle achieves supersonic speeds of greater than Mach 3. GE Aerospace engineers are working on a rotating detonation-enabled dual-mode ramjet that is capable of operating at lower Mach numbers, enabling the flight vehicle to operate more efficiently and achieve long range. Rotating detonation combustion enables high thrust generation more efficiently by combusting the fuel through detonation waves instead of a standard combustion system that powers traditional jet engines today. To elaborate, this is where it gets heavy. In most traditional gas turbines, including turbofan and turbojet engines, air is fed in from an inlet and compressed, and then is mixed with fuel and burned via deflagration, where combustion occurs at a subsonic rate in a combustion chamber. This process creates the continuous flow of hot, high-pressure air needed to make the whole system run. A rotating detonation engine, which involves combustion that happens at a supersonic rate, starts with one cylinder inside a larger one with a gap between them and some holes or slits through which a detonation fuel mix can be pushed, according to a past article on the general concept from New Atlas. Some form of ignition creates a detonation in that annular gap, which creates gases that are pushed out one end of the ring-shaped channel to produce thrust in the opposite direction. It also creates shock waves. Gonky, this sounds like a two-stroke exhaust. It also creates a shock wave that propagates around the channel at around 5 times the speed of sound, and that shock wave can be used to ignite more detonations in a self-sustaining rotating pattern if fuel is added in the right spots at the right times. And I saw a diagram here somewhere that looked like it would help, but I can't find it again. So they're basically using explosions and oh, look, it's Scott Manley. Pressure waves in place of the compressor. I think this is what I was looking for.
Obviously. Does it still suck, squeeze, bang, blow?
That's
It sucks and squeezes, or does it suck and bang?
No bang, no blow.
No, there's definitely there has to be blow out the back end.
I think there's sucking, banging, and blowing without squeezing.
We need a coloring book version of this, Gonky. Can you make us a
we need our former Air Force engineer guy.
I understand nothing. Although I played the Dark Star mission on Microsoft Flight Sim, so I know exactly what they're talking about. Usually you have to get up to speed and then kind of bun over and then get to your ramjet speed and then engage it and then get back up to speed and then you can go Mach 10. So pretty sure that's what this is.
Dude, I'm not an engineer, bro. I'm an operator.
Do you want to watch some videos? Will that help?
Sure.
Does it still have throttles?
I don't know, man. It's 11 minutes.
Oh God, no, we don't have 11 minutes for this. Efficiency. Let's just hit the highlights. Efficiency
with some inlet valves at one end.
No,
first there would
don't
be
like it. Skip it.
The old
Skip
style.
It. Just get rid of it.
Pulse destination engines can exceed
like
the.
Nope.
Oh man.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, so what have we learned, Gonky? We're just getting rid of the whole thing. We're just going back to those because
I mean, obviously hypersonic propulsion system would be a huge advantage.
Well, so why is it still going? So I think the takeaway here is that GE has done something cool,
right,
to make engines work better to go hypersonic more easily, and therefore we get faster airplanes or missile tech,
right,
and that's cool.
Yeah, the ability to go higher and faster, man.
High, fast, do good work. We're going to talk about that with the MiG-41 here.
That's right, exactly.
So this is your primer. The academics, there will be a test later.
I won't be grading it.
Honestly, I wish we had deeper intel on this. But the fact that both of us are stupid.
That's true. We are ignorant when it comes to engineering.
We are pilots, and we know nothing about any of this stuff. All we know is airplane go fast.
This makes it go faster.
Yeah.
It goes slower.
Yeah. You remember oh God. So this one is for legal reasons. This is a joke. Please don't cancel me, but this is a real thing. Have you ever heard of the wheelchair maneuver?
What?
The wheelchair maneuver.
No. I mean, explain it. I may have.
The platitudes we used to say in the Viper, right? There's the get high, get fast, do good work. The Bob Marley was, but there's the wheelchair. So when you were going in a 9K and they call fights on and you're trying to get to that turn circle entry, they'd say do the wheelchair maneuver because you're pushing both hands forward.
Oh yeah.
You're unloading.
Yes.
But in a Viper, it's more like, because it's both, it's not like the stick, so it's both sides. It's not punching the MPCD like you did in the Hornet. So you take the throttle and the stick and you do the wheelchair maneuver.
Yeah. That's
the unload.
That's
you're reducing drag.
Addition. Right.
Yeah, your energy, you're doing energy addition.
Clean up the
so I don't remember why I'm telling this story other than I'm trying to get canceled here. But the point being is that if you explain it to me like I'm 5,
right,
I will do. I know Matt didn't understand any of this.
You brought up a good point, right? In aerodynamics, right? They're trying to explain how a jet engine works, and then when they say it sucks, squeeze, bang, blow, you're like, oh yeah, of course.
That's how I learned it.
Easy
that's
peasy.
Actually, all engines really suck, squeeze, bang, blow. I mean, that's it.
As soon as they say that, it's like, oh yeah, of course. Why didn't you say that at the beginning?
Well, because we're fighter pilots and we learn by association, but we have 12-year-old minds. So if you tell us suck, squeeze, bang, blow, or for example,
first we smile.
In the Air Force, for example, like to get into your raft, it was slip, separate, lubricate, inspect, penetrate, and that's how you got into the raft. That's what they taught us, and like to this day, that was like almost 20 years ago. I know how to get into a raft because of that.
Yeah, that's good. That needs to make it to the Navy because they didn't teach us that.
Well, perhaps you did not.
The odds are I'd be in a raft.
Look, Garrett switched over to my channel and says, suck, squeeze, bang, blow is the motto for life.
That's funny.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my wife that later.
Because I'm a pilot, I don't care about engineering. Remember, Gonky, Fox News is watching, so we got to be careful what we say.
We do care about engineering. I mean, it is good to know how your airplane works, but you don't need to be in the weeds. But the tech is cool.
Yeah,
I think the tech is cool, man.
So here's the thing. If they want me to fly something hypersonic with this engine, the answer is yes. If they want me to understand it,
yeah, we had a saying. It's like, dude, you're not trying to build it; you're just going to rent it. So
yeah,
I mean,
we're renting it for a 1.0 or however long the thing can fly it. We didn't get to that part of the article. Douglas, I'm sorry. You're the smart one here, so we're not.
I'm not an engineer. I'm not that good. I spawned an engineer.
There you go.
I'll have to get him on there. And so anyway, moving on. Fair price is a good way to support the channel. Thank you. Adam says, just join Mover's channel, but we'll continue to support both of you guys. You've both lived my dream and always entertained me, so to speak. Have a great Christmas. I wonder how many people unsubscribed after that diatribe we just went through.
No.
Gaming with Mover win. What game? That's the question. We do iRacing. Mover Ruins Racing. That was a thing. We did a whole league. John says, for those of us fans who love your content and your message, a few bucks a month is the least we can contribute to keep giving us hours and entertaining. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
D Stu says, did you all see? Yes. And that is one of the articles that we're going to do. John says, hey, all greetings from an old paratrooper.
Thanks, John.
When I did that one. Yes, I like prop plane. Oh, yes, like prop plane. No, he was Stole. He was talking. Yep. He's answering. Justin John says, I want a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
So when you tell your wife
Santa,
well, hold on. When you brief her on the suck, squeeze, bang, blow, put that in the conversation as well.
That's a low PK shot right there, Mover. So that's a very
for those of you at home, PK is P sub K. It's probability of kill.
Yeah.
If it's low PK, it means it's probably not going to work.
Probably not going to work.
I'm also Batman. Franklin says, why are you? Is it because they called you out?
No, I highlighted that one because I didn't know the answer to the question.
Oh, at the top of my channel, it says join. So you could just go to my channel, hit join, and it'll give you the options. Girlfriend calls me Gunky, geeky hunk. Gonky, maybe geeky Gonky.
Oh, Donkey. Boy, Kirk,
Dude, we are getting close.
You're getting a little warm there, my friend.
Yeah, we're just getting there.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you're the geeky donkey. I like that. If you want to be the geeky donkey, that's up to you. All right. Moving on to U.S. Spec Ops buying too many armed Overwatch planes. We should have had T-Bear in for this.
We should have.
I think that's a cool aircraft.
Yeah, that thing is so
cool. Yeah. There's two people in there, dude. Look at it.
I know.
Yep.
How'd they squeeze the other guy in there?
Oh, no. What's he for? Let's be honest.
You want me to go ahead and read this one?
Yes, please.
U.S. Special Operations Command should reconsider its plan to buy 75 armed Overwatch aircraft, a government watchdog said Thursday. The Government Accountability Office recommended the command slow down its acquisition of the wow, that is hard to say, AT-802U Skywarden. Its choice for armed Overwatch program beginning in fiscal 2025 until SOCOM carries out a more thorough analysis for the fleet. SOCOM in 2022 selected the single-engine two-person Skywarden made by L3 Harris Technologies and Air Tractor for the program and expects to spend $2.2 billion to buy the planes through FY 2029. The Skywarden is intended to carry out close air support, precision strike, and armed intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions for its counterterrorism operations in irregular warfare. But the study SOCOM performed to decide it needed 75 armed Overwatch planes relied on unproven assumptions and didn't justify a fleet of that size, GAO said in its report titled Special Operations Forces DoD should slow acquisition of armed Overwatch aircraft until it conducts needed analysis. And that is the gist of the article.
Awesome. Dude, T-Bear's got a picture of himself standing next to one with the big tire.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess it doesn't have the big tire, but it's a big aircraft next to a small T-Bear. One U.S. T-Bear.
always been a fan of the whole idea of like a low cost light attack airplane.
Was this the airplane that they were given to the Afghanistan Air Force? So there's probably some like the Taliban has now. Because I seem to remember. Because
you're right.
It made me think of it when I saw the dude sitting in the back. Because I remember that they were like, "Hey, I've got to sit in the back and I've got to have my sidearm ready to go in case." Was that this airplane?
I don't think it's an air tractor, man. I think
was it
like
the Tucano?
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, where they were like, "Hey, I don't want them behind me," because.
But I mean, either way, I love the idea of a single engine turboprop light attack airplane.
Well, is that dual FLIRs? Like what's?
I don't know. It looks like
it looks like two. They don't look like they look like more like a helicopter FLIR.
And are those rocket pods or gun pods?
I bet you they're the APIC was the laser guided rockets.
Man, that thing, you know how fun that thing would be. Whew.
Oh, dude. I mean,
yeah.
But your return to target is 100 feet.
Yeah.
Like you're literally a crop duster.
And the one thing I don't like though is I'm pretty sure those guys aren't sitting in ejection seats. Because I mean, look how close they are, right? I would not want to be in any kind of light attack, close air support kind of machine.
No,
an ejection seat, dude. That would be a little scary.
Do you need one though? Because you just landed. I mean, it's like
you got a point.
40 knot stall speed, man. You just land.
What if you're missing a wing?
Well, it's going to land a lot harder.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be much more. But I'm curious. So that actually off to the left wing looks like a sniper or a lightning pod. So I don't know what those two identical.
They look like the traffic, like they have on the nose of a traffic helicopter.
Yeah, like an MX-15 or an MX-10. L3 makes the MX-15, the MX-10, but no, it's pretty cool, man. I think it's good for what you're trying to do. It'd be good for like the Marines, forward arming and refuel, or the Army, forward arming and refueling, austere environments. I mean, it's what a crop duster does.
Yep, 100%.
So the thing is, though, how is it in mountainous terrain?
Depends on how loaded it is, man. I mean,
but even the A-10, I mean, it struggled at Bagram. If it got heavy loaded, hot, heavy day, I knew a guy, his call sign was Skip, because he, picked up the gear and still skipped off the end of the runway and took off.
In an A-10?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Skid's checking in.
Well, dude, in a hot summer day in Fallon, if you had a decent bomb load on the Hornet, she was a little lazy.
You wouldn't skip though. You wouldn't. No. If you skipped in the Hornet.
No, you wouldn't
things
skip.
Were about to happen to good people.
But she was pretty lazy. It was like, oh my gosh, like come on.
Yeah, I don't know what the armament is. If it's whatever. But I digress, Doug. I've got that next one, by the way, the F-16. But did it say how many they bought? That was too many.
2 billion worth, right?
They planned for 75.
75. That is a lot.
that cuts into the Fat Amy budget. They can buy one F-35 or 75.
Well, it cuts into the EX budget too. There was an article today that just came out about them going to Kadena. And what do you need more of? A low threat, close air support? Because everybody argues that the A-10 is not suitable for a near peer environment. This thing for sure is not suitable for a near peer environment, but is great for the Israeli conflict.
What we've been doing for the last
20 years,
25 years, right?
Whatever happens when the Venezuelan thing pops off, day 69 of the war, not necessarily day 6, but 69 and beyond, in certain areas, $30 million a pop. That used to be how much a Viper would cost.
Yeah. That's how much Pete Mitchell's Tomcat cost, right?
Tomcats.
That's a big gamble with a $30 million plane, isn't it?
Oh, good point.
Dang, man, inflation, it'll get you.
Jeez. Wow. Okay, here we go. Continuing on, let's get back to the kids at home, because we're going to have to catch up now.
Catch up.
Ketchup. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Dude, I remember that from fire extinguisher training.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
See, you learn things through these nice little fancy. I don't know the word. Doug, what do you call that? Is it a jingle?
It's a jingle.
It's a mnemonic.
Yeah. See,
I
I'm
like
not
jingle better. It's more festive.
Do the jingle. That's the average Russian cockpit size, so to speak. Gonky. How many G's did Gonky hit in the centrifuge?
7.5, I think. I made a video about it. I think 7.5, something like that.
Go watch it. Plexi.
Merry Christmas.
Mover and Gonky and the Wombat.
We'll let him know.
ZOZ, is there a single subscriber here, 18 viewers? Yeah, so that's on the Twitch. I was trying to find a way to make it equitable, and this is all a work in progress. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I'm still trying to figure stuff out, how to multi-stream, because Twitch has subscriber-only mode, and it's like, I want to be fair to people. I don't know. Another late start. Sign me up at the mission commander level. May sound corny, but it feels like I'm just helping friends. We appreciate it. Plus,
thanks, Joe.
I love Airwolf. So
we all love Airwolf.
It's an air tractor frame. It is an air tractor, AT-802.
Yeah.
Perhaps Spec Ops reads Vengeance Flight. Vengeance Flight, is that a spoiler? Oh, I can't. It's not an air tractor in Vengeance Flight. It's a twin engine aircraft.
Oh boy. Yellow light.
With a 10.
Josie.
Millie Keller like me.
I can't. Every time.
Millie Keller.
That's how you say Merry Christmas in Hawaii.
Did you know aloha vacation can mean hello or goodbye?
Well, now I do. I come on this show, Mover, to learn things like this.
We learn at the 5th grade level.
That's true.
So, hey, check it out.
That's a cool video.
Our friend, ABD Hermit Era, Block 69. I want to give him credit for it because, I mean, it's not his video, but sure, he got this video. And I saw it. He follows me. I follow him. Why not? But for whatever reason, the Turkish Air Force likes to fly really low over water in boats. Like super low. Oh, dude. Doug, see if you can find that MiG-29 that almost hit the ground. The Ukrainian one. Yeah, it was Ukrainian. Did you see the low pass video I'm talking about? Speaking of low passes, they were like inches off the ground. Anyway, but this one, there's a cockpit video, and I wanted to show you, Gonky, because you like boats and you like jets and you like going fast.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert. The 360 camera. I'll turn down the music so we don't get demonetized. That's it? That's the whole thing? Oh,
no.
My potato internet is potatoing.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, it's stopping. Okay, so they're buzzing this yacht.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So the difference between the Viper and the Hornet is you don't have any reference point except water going by. Like, you don't have the leading edge extensions. You don't have the canopy bow. You are just sitting on the nose of a rocket. It's like a magic carpet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Reminds me of flying in Key West back in the day.
Did you ever buzz a cruise ship?
I can neither confirm nor deny such incidents happened.
What are we looking like? AIM 120s?
Yeah.
9
mics?
Mikes? Is that a mic? I can't tell if that's a...
No wings, man. Is that just an empty pylon?
That's an AMD pod.
Oh, okay.
So
cool. So they'll have all the data when he gets back.
No, that's...
What were you doing at 20 feet at 500 knots?
Well, I mean, he GoPro'd it. So, I mean, he got back to his LOR.
That is a cool video.
Oh, no, wait, hold on. There's more. That's what it looked like from the oligarch's position.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
If you can read this.
Freedom. Yeah, get that tail number.
Sticker. Yeah, if you can read this. Dude has permanent hearing damage now.
Worth it. Yeah. Worth it. 100%.
2-bag jet. Look. That is close.
Yeah.
That is not an acceptable distance. I'll tell you that much right now. He didn't even have time. Oh, look, I guess we're
Man,
in hands.
If he would have squatted it right there, you might have tail tapped that.
Oh yeah,
that yacht.
He'd have caught the guy's hair on fire, literally. Like if he'd have with the burner.
Oh yeah,
dude, he didn't. Like he could light their boat on fire.
He probably isn't burner, man. With 2 tanks on it. Has he got something on the chin? Is that a lightning pod? What is that? Yeah, there's something there, dude.
Right here would be the lightning pod on the right side.
There's some sort of draggy thing hanging on it, but still, awesome video.
Unless this video's flipped. A lot of times they'll flip videos.
Oh yeah,
No, because the cockpit video had the 9 on the right. So this is this is to scale. Unless they flip that one too. But I could read the guy's helmet, so I think this is right. I don't know. Do they carry like HTS pods and stuff from the Block 50? I don't know what the Turkish, if they're doing seed or not, but usually on the right, unless they figured out a way to mount it on the left, which would be awesome because that was my one complaint about doing CAS and the Vipers. You had to do a right-hand wheel because the pod was on the right.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's communism. Pure communism.
Really?
Yeah, you have to do a right-hand wheel. Same thing in the A10.
What?
Right-hand wheel.
I thought the A10 though you could put the pod anywhere because it's the sniper pod,
Put
right?
it on the right-hand side.
Oh, jeez, dude. That is communist.
Terrible.
Is it in kilometers per hour too?
No, I don't think they're that far into the communism. Just enough that you have to turn right. And I'm not an ambi-turner. It's just not natural to go right.
No, dude, you gotta go left.
Natural? I mean, you push, pull. I mean,
no, you gotta go left.
Whatever. But there you go. God, dude, it gets closer. Like he gets lower as he goes.
Well, the moral of the story is, like, if you try to do one better than this one, you're probably not.
You'll hit the boat.
You're probably not going to come back.
Well, here's the moral of my story: is if anyone wants me to fly an F-16 and do this, or exercise superior aviator judgment and not do this, I'm available. I will do either of these things.
I did find a couple of MiG-29 low passes if you'd like to see.
Did you find the one? No, is that the one? All right, try it. See, is it recent?
4 months ago.
Oh no, this one's lower.
Okay, see if you like this one.
Is it recent?
I can't tell.
Yes, that's the one.
Whoa.
That's the one, dude. Have you seen that? Can you make it full screen?
Whoa.
You haven't seen that one?
No. Low altitude pass.
Double click it. Try double clicking it. Nope, that didn't work. Okay.
Dang.
So here's the problem I have. The Turkish one is stupid, but I mean, at least it's like they're probably buzzing like the oligarchs or whatever. This one's even dumber. And here's why. You're in the middle of a war.
Yeah, you're gonna ball up a perfectly good
to be doing stupid stuff like this. You just can't. You can't. Like your president is over there saying, "Please give us money," but yet you're flying one of your only airplanes 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
For what?
Even more importantly is the manpower. So you don't want to lose any of your guys.
No, dude, you take a bird.
No, you're done.
I mean,
yeah.
Somebody walks out in front. Like now we're in the if a deer crosses the runway, you die. Right. You all die. So that's like I love it as a fighter pilot. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, but it's totally cool. It's just dumb.
then as a like, I feel great. I'm like, oh, dude, that's stupid.
Yeah, I've done a lot of stupid cool things.
So have I, but not in war where we're like, hey guys, we need more jets. Oh, let me take this one and fly it 6 inches off the ground for YouTube. Now, granted, there's the other piece to that too, is it boosts morale.
It does, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
you could have done it at maybe 15 feet instead of 6 inches.
I don't think the people on the ground know the difference between a 50-foot pass, which is still kind of stupid, but at least a little bit smaller, and a 6-inch pass, which is completely dumb. Dude, I don't even know. Like estimating that in the jet is
he could not have put the gear down. Like the gear would have halfway extended.
He ripped the doors off.
The doors would hit. Yeah.
What do we got? We got another one. Oh, what? Douglas, you've gone self-aware.
Things got out of control here.
You've gone self-aware.
Douglas, he's taken over.
It's like
we've now become
in a panic. We try to put a plug.
We're gonna try again.
I have this.
Is this the same one?
I have this one on my MiG-29 fight video.
Please, sir, can I have some more pixels?
Who is this? Is this Ukraine? He almost hits the van. Nice.
I don't know, but it's cool.
But you see, that's a little bit safer.
Exactly.
He was even with the tower windows.
Yeah, but okay. You buzz the tower at tower height. Tower height's like 69 feet. Okay, fine.
Right.
You don't buzz it at the taxiway light height, which is like 1 foot.
Yeah.
Just technique. I don't know. Dude, I'm getting old. That's what happened. But it shows good aviator judgment. If anybody wants me to fly their MiG-29, I will. Yeah. Bob says, just joined. Thanks for the announcements. Earlier, I wasn't aware, not paying attention. If it's 25 cents per joke, it's well worth it. Wombats are 27.3 cents. Nice.
Thanks.
Found a T2 Buckeye for sale. One owner, 12 million.
God,
dude, if I had that kind of money,
I think I could do
Kelly says the view from the yacht was wild. Were you on the yacht?
They had to know.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Either that or maybe that was the second pass, third pass.
What I think. It was the second pass, or they were orbiting and they were like, oh, check this out. Oh, look. Oh, God, they're coming at us, so to speak. And
dude, I mean, out in the desert, I have gotten cars to pull over on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say about that. But
here's the thing. If you're an oligarch with your own yacht, can you not get a better phone? Like 4K, bro. 8K probably would be nice, but 4K at least. This is just unsad.
Dude, he's probably a boomer, man. Come on, give the guy a break.
Your people, Gonky.
He's got the flip phone.
That's why we were about to watch a Social Security video a while ago. Turkish Maverick says, Garrett, here's my thoughts on Wombat's call sign. Oh, God. A Wombat's feces comes out as a cube. Oh, we've heard this one. So I'm sure TR Matchin has some mid-rats. No, that's not it.
No, that's not
Deer
it.
strikes on aircraft is actually not uncommon here in the Carolinas. I know. There was one back a couple months ago, like the price of admission. I can read the guy's helmet, so to speak. Turks use their F-16 afterburners to make coffee. I saw a meme the other day. It was an F-16 and afterburner, like a video, and it was like, you know, the masculine urge to stick your hand in it to see if it's really hot.
Funny, I don't have that urge. I just know it's hot.
All right, Douglas, do you have the drone liner, sir? He does not, and he's muted.
I do not have that one. I panicked and left the stream.
Do I need to do it?
I think you're gonna have to.
Is that what's happening? Okay, hold on. Keep them occupied.
Oh wait, I found it.
I got it. No, it's too late now. I've already got it. Oh, nope. We're crashing here.
Oh boy, who has control?
It's not letting me share the screen, dude. I don't know why. Oh, it's because. Oh boy.
Mover.
Control Alt Delete.
Are you? Is your computer doing an update?
Oh.
How about now? We're gonna have to fix your internet, man.
I'll go ahead and read this while you sort things out.
This is. We need some more subscribers for Mover so he can.
At least he was smiling when he froze.
So he can update his computer system.
Are we back? Things were not going well there for a second. It totally just crushed me, dude. It crushed me. It couldn't handle it. Thank you, Douglas.
I'm having trouble now too.
Please, some would. Dude, I think this website's got some.
Yeah, it's that website.
It's the website, man. It's got some
there. I'm gonna Google drone liner and find it somewhere else.
So here's the thing. The moral of this, we don't even have the right. There's this big ass cargo thing, and it's a drone. That's the gist of it. Companies are in the process of developing an autonomous technology that are both safe and reliable. And the reason I said, hey, this is a good article is because I wanted to spark the discussion. Is how realistic do you think this is, Gonky?
Dude, I mean, the 200 model is a single engine, 500,000 pound airplane.
Yeah. Well, it also talks about EV. which I think is, dude, again, as we've proven in the previous segment, we're not the engineering type. But the question I have with EV is it's heavy. Like we haven't figured out ultra lightweight technology and long range. And cargo, you want reliable because you're doing ocean crossings, and you want lightweight so you could put crap back there. You know, Mima's Amazon package,
right,
and Gonky's flip phone have to be shipped from China. So we need technology. Now, what I will say is where I think the applicability, and I think where we're going to start to see autonomous cargo drones, because I think cargo, admittedly, is going to be the first ones. Like that's the canary in the coal mine, because you're going to see single pilot and then no pilot for that. But where I think it'll happen, just mover's opinion, is crossing the Pacific. Like, because big ocean, right? If we lose one, you know, okay, you lost the packages, it's insured. But like from LA or somewhere on the coast to Southeastern Asia, you know, I mean, or Asia in general, not South, but any parts in Asia, like I think that's where you're going to see it initially, because that's where that's where you save the most money, because you don't need 3 pilots, 4 pilots, whatever, and you're flying boxes.
And it's just long range dead flying, right?
Yeah. So I think people will have heartburn flying it over populated areas, you know, so you may see it like not like LAX, but you may see like a cargo thing, kind of like what they were talking about doing. There's I forgot the name of the place outside of Homestead. There's a airfield that's like 12,000 feet long. We used to use it as one of our diverts, like in the Everglades. Or there was nothing around it, but it was always like, hey, if you lose an engine, you can go there because it's a 10,000 foot runway or whatever. I think you'll see like an airport like that where it's just drones and it's not around any populated areas and it's got access to the Pacific. And I think that's where it's going to start. But I don't know. What do you think?
Dude, I think the whole freight, you know, Amazon's quest to get you your gadget like as soon as possible after you click buy. I mean, the drone technology is probably combined with some sort of AI is going to be where it's at. I mean, drones don't sleep, right? I mean, it's coming. And I can see some people talking about it in the comments, but like, you know, the tough nut to crack is, even though like airplanes are highly automated now, they still, the infrastructure that we have air travel in right now is not designed for automated things.
But it is getting there, because I mean, look at the Vision Jet that can, you know, declare an emergency and land on its own. Look at CPDLC,
but that technology has been around for decades.
But but CPDLC too, right?
What is that? CP?
You never use that, where you don't have to talk to anybody. Like they'll like you fly Indy Center, and like there's a lot of center places where they'll pass you like clearances and stuff through your FMS.
No, I've never done that.
You might really. I've done that a lot.
We may have not paid for that service. I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's even something you pay for, but for us, you know, like, how do you get your clearance? Do you call clearance, or does it just pop up on your?
No, I call.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys are peasants, dude.
Yeah.
Poverty.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like I always tell them, like, you know, IFR to Belleville, and
are you serious?
Captain's like, you know, we're always IFR, right? I'm like, I know, I just can't break this.
Are you serious? I had no idea. So,
oh, dude, I talk to everybody
at the big airlines.
at the real
where you wear a hat,
where you wear a hat.
At those places where you might wear a hat
money
and get paid money, it's downloaded to your FMS or FMC. So like you put in, you know, KUSA or whatever, it connects. You got to do all the stuff. It connects and it goes.
It connects with clearance?
Yeah. I don't ever talk to clearance. The only time I've ever talked to clearance delivery is in a foreign country. Yeah. And a lot of foreign countries, you don't have to. It's Mexico. And Mexico sucks because you can't understand them sometimes, because they start rambling off and you're like, dude, what? But anyway, CPDLC. And they'll talk to you in flight. You'll talk to the ARTCC or whatever, and they'll send you like, hey, clear direct, whatever, and you acknowledge it, and you bing bing.
Dude, clearly we're not in the link. So
apparently,
I have no clue what you're talking.
This is breaking news by itself that you guys aren't using that.
No, dude, we'll get they'll clear us for an arrival, then they'll change it. And so
not an arrival. This is like right now. I think they're only doing it with like center frequencies and stuff, but like across the pond too, they're using it for the updates and stuff.
Yeah.
All the satcoms and stuff.
Yeah, no. I just
Gonky doesn't have this technology.
Hello, anybody there? I need some clearance. So,
that's crazy. I'm surprised I even remember this. But no, seriously, the technology already exists. Yeah. I mean, look at when I was at the training center, when I first started, we had sims for the A350. We bought a whole bunch of sims. We were buying the airplanes, and then we decided we're not buying the airplanes anymore. So we had the sims. But I walked into one, and the guy's just sitting there, he's messing with something. And he's like, hey, check this out. I was like, what? If that aircraft determines that it has a rapid depressurization, all right, so cabin altitude climbs, because it's no longer pressurizing, it will automatically descend and fly the depressurization route and can be programmed to continue fly the approach and land.
Does it know if there's a mountain under you?
Yes, that's what a depressurization route is. So it's routes in mountainous terrain that you can safely escape and do an emergency descent and then go find a divert somewhere. It is smart enough to know. So, dude,
the technology is there, but I just don't. It's coming. It's not here yet,
so to speak. Yeah, close. Oh my God. Yeah. Gonky's airline job is about like my internet just now. That wasn't internet. That was computer. Something's happened. I don't know what that website was doing, but it did not like me or Douglas.
Yeah, it was the website. It crashed my Explorer or my
Chrome. It didn't like Chrome.
The Chinese hit record.
Yeah,
that was what happened.
Hey, you do drone. Anyway, anything else on that one?
No, it's coming, dude. I think you're right. I think cargo is the canary in the coal mine, but I don't think people carriers. I think they always want a little skin in the game, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and I think specifically to this article, even though we didn't really talk about it, I think their ideas are a little impractical, like you talked about. Single engine, EV, all that stuff. Like, I think it's going to come in the form of a 777 that has been converted, or a new, maybe not a clean sheet design, but a variant of a variant of a 777.
Right.
Maybe not Boeing because they need a yoke, but like an Airbus variant. Something.
Right.
I mean, we're already there, dude. Look at and it may be not fully autonomous. It may be a dude in a shack in Las Vegas that is monitoring 3 or 4 of them.
Dispatch.
Yeah, it's a dispatch.
It could be dispatch.
You've got a ground team that's doing the takeoff and landings, that, making sure the arrivals and stuff, they've got eyes on while they land. And then you've got it hands off to a dispatch, and then the dispatch tracks 5 of them across the Pacific. And then a ground team picks it up when it lands in Shanghai, it won't be there. It won't be, I don't think it's going to be populated areas, at least not at first. Just me.
Yeah. It's coming.
That's what she said. That's what he said. Tom P. said, as a pilot flying that low, shouldn't you be more worried about FOD going through the engines? You should be worried about a lot of things.
Yeah. Tons of things. Like,
what do they call it in the Navy? Flat hatting?
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's prohibited.
I think probably all of us have done it, and sometimes it'll get you.
Dude, I got in trouble as a lieutenant for doing an unrestricted climb.
Yeah. In the Navy, that'll get you FNAB'd.
Yeah. It was cleared by ATC, and my group commander saw it, and he's like, well, you said you wanted to go to the Raptor, but that's not Raptor behavior. 10 years later, we see the Raptors, and that's like all they do.
Yeah.
So, Roscoe, that's actually correct Raptor behavior.
Yeah.
James says, would either of you go to fly for Ukraine if they gave you your choice of aircraft and missions? What would you choose and why? Gonky, you've done the mercenary thing. Would you go do that?
I would like to not participate in that conflict. But if I got voluntold to go and I had to fly for Ukraine, I would definitely want to fly Super Hornet, the latest and greatest
Block
or
3.
Yeah, Block 3. Dang it. It still hurts.
I'd want to fly the F-15EX with 12 AMRAAMs.
Yeah.
Or
what you know, man. That's why I picked the Super Hornets, because that's what I know. The Hornets.
Or Fat Amy. Husky Amelia.
That's why you're still single, bro.
Oh God.
Bad choices. History of bad choices.
Irene says I'm a loser. No, you're not. I couldn't find where to join on the movers page. It actually says join right at the top, but if you go to my community page post, there's a link on how to join. Do they make you fly in more time if you get sick? Depends on the war.
What kind of sick? Like
you can't clear your ears.
Well, it's kind of the big boy program, you know, like you got to fess up if you're not feeling well. But like usually I don't know any fleet or CAF, Combat Air Force pilot who still gets air sick. Do you, Mover? I mean, by the time you make it to there.
He's not talking air sick. I think he's just saying like, hey, you're pooping your pants.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. So I did get, I got sick one time in particular. No. I got the flu, man. When I was on the boat, I was supposed to go do a mission. And I picked up the phone in my stateroom. I was like, I told the ops, I was like, hey, Skull, dude, I'm sick. I can't do this mission. He goes, all right, we need you to stand duty. I was like, I cannot get out of bed. He's like, look, man, it's either the healing chair or the jet. And I was like, I'll be to the ready room. Give me 15 minutes. So, you still have to work, but they're not going to make you fly.
Dude, I had one sortie where I was flying with a guy in Balad, and the moment hit him, and he taxied back.
The physiological moment.
What are we doing? Oh,
that's how you join. There you go.
Oh, there you go. The moment hit him, and he taxied back, shut down, got in the porta potty, did his business, got back in the jet, and then met me airborne.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that on the carrier, man, because there's a launch.
No, you can do that at Balad, though.
Yeah.
Movers got Gonky's old internet. No, that was a PC problem.
A hack.
That was the Chinese coming after me.
It was, man.
We'll get to their TikTok in a minute. Garrett says most people won't get into an aircraft with at least one pilot, or without at least one pilot, probably.
Or one engine.
Yeah. Takeoff and landing, it was a small cargo plane, not a drone. Not sure.
There was, it's that.
Okay. It's backwards. Yeah. Modified 208, safely executed a 12-minute test flight. Yeah, I don't think that's that cosmic. Like, no, with technology the way it is, the Cat 3 approach.
They had B-17 drones, like, back in the day.
Viper drones.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, like, flying an airplane without a person in it is not the hard part at this point. It's the
maintaining the link. Yeah.
It's that and integrating it into, the infrastructure that we have. Is that the right word?
But they already do that with drones, like, the Reaper and
but
Global Hawk.
But they're just going to a kill box and doing circles. They're not like,
oh, dude, they're flying in the airspace because
they're going from like Newark to LA.
No, not in our airspace.
But that's what I'm saying.
Other people's airspace. Like you've never seen like the memes or whatever, or them talking about how they'll check in with like an Italian controller.
Right.
And they'll be like, yeah, I'm here. Because they won't tell them they're a drone, So they'll be like, oh, yeah, we're checking in at 340. Like I saw remote piloted memes on Instagram. They were talking about a drone giving a PIREP. And they thought that was funny. I was like, well, yeah, because there's the dude sitting in the container. He has no idea.
Yeah. No turbulence here.
Big Cheese 711. Need advice. Almost had a runway excursion on a 172. Friend corrected, but fear remained and got rusty. Afraid to fly now. Any techniques to overcome? It is the Top Gun. Get back in the saddle. It's the only way to fix it, dude.
Yeah. So I used to be a CFI, and if this was a landing thing, I mean, like Mover said, you pick a nice calm day and get back in the airplane and, just take yourself flying. We've all been there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been there, man. It's part of learning. I mean, that's why I was told when I got my private, they're like, congratulations, here's your license to learn now. And that was very true. Cause I myself almost had a couple off runway experiences.
I went off runway.
Yeah. See, it's normal. Jeez. So don't,
landing gear collapsed and I went off roading.
There you go. Yeah.
It's terrible. Just get back in the saddle.
Yeah.
So it's all about repetitions.
And there's no shame in asking your old instructor, be like, hey man, can we do a couple laps in the pattern?
There's that too. Yeah.
Just to knock off the rust, because I think I've regressed a little bit. And I mean, that just shows maturity in your airmanship, so it's a good thing.
Modman says, how would you think ATC would control drone cargo aircraft via the radio? How would the guy behind the radar tell a drone cargo aircraft to change heading and altitude? Gonky flight 6969, turn left heading 340, because it's the same thing as real drones. They're talking to you on the radio. It's just the dude in the container is not co-located with the aircraft that he's flying. Or if it's autonomous, well, AI has speech recognition. And I don't think it's going to go to that point. But if it did, either you do AI speech recognition or CPDLC, where you're just sending commands, telling it, you're not talking at all. Because really over these routes, you're not talking to anybody anyway.
Well, I don't know about you, but in the world of having to use a mic still and talking on the radio, that's how, at least if I'm flying the airliner, like that's how I get my essay of like people around me, because I'm hearing their clearances, I'm hearing their altitudes, their headings and stuff.
Yeah. But where I'm talking about is like the tracks. So these long international tracks.
Oh yeah.
You're not talking to anybody anyway. You're just on the track.
That's true.
You might get position reports, which you can do via the CPDLC, the data link, SATCOM, but you're not really talking to anybody. And then when you get in the radar environment, either you'd have a data link to a guy in the container or CPDLC.
Right.
So, yeah. Tom says, speaking of fighters, center or side stick and why?
I've never flown this. I mean, I've flown side stick sim, but
side stick is good for pulling G's.
Snack tray too.
Snack tray,
great for the snack tray.
But it's good for pulling G's. It's good for dogfighting. The stick is also, I think it just depends on the airplane. The Hornet did it well.
I like the center. I mean, I don't know. I have sat in F-16. They're both like ergonomically, like I think they're both well thought out.
Ergonomically?
Is that a word? Is that the right word?
You got the R wrong. It's ergo.
Dang it. Ergonomically. Yeah, sorry. I'm not educated. I'm gonna get some, hey,
we don't know English or engineering today.
We were looking at some of Mover's old comments, and I'm gonna get some of that hate. I'm not even a real pilot. He can't say big words.
You don't know. All right. Speaking of Hornet pilots, a Hornet pilot explains why an F-22 can't land on the carrier. Once again, using Quora.
So the scenario is a U.S. Navy FA-18 pilot explains pilot out of gas with his ejection seat jammed and his canopy sealed shut. So perfect storm, I guess.
Things are not going well.
No, it was a bad day. Could never do an emergency landing on an aircraft carrier, and I skipped all the details about the Raptor. Nevertheless, despite its incredible capabilities, the F-22 could never do an emergency landing aboard an aircraft carrier, as Tim Hibbets, former U.S. Navy A-6 intruder and FA-18 Hornet pilot, explains on Quora, the Center for All Knowledge. Shogun, this is Hotshot 30. I'm an F-22 with 20 minutes of gas and 40 minutes from shore. My ejection seat has malfunctioned and my canopy is sealed shut. I can't eject and I can't get out of the plane if I ditch. I need immediate clearance to land on your deck. Can you rig the barricade? Over. Hotshot, this is Shogun Actual. Son, your country's real proud of you and we'll do everything we can, but you're going to die. Let's get the ugly facts out first. As awesome as they are at their jobs, Air Force pilots don't train to land on carriers. This is a skill that is underappreciated in the question. You can't wish yourself onto a carrier while smoking in over 100 knots, best case. Without at least a modicum of training, there's no way this pilot could even get close to safe parameters of a normal trap. A barricade landing is at least 5 times more complex and dangerous. You can't get there from here. While there are Air Force pilots who have cross-trained with the Navy and earned their carrier wings, they will be the first ones to tell you you can't just bring any old plane on board without training on that platform. It's not a directly transferable skill, especially when it's not designed to fly like that. Secondly, no carrier CO is going to risk massive damage to his flight deck, essentially a major component of his only offensive weapon system, by letting 45,000 pounds of nasty slam into it, so to speak. While they could likely generate enough wind to get the approach speed down to 100 knots, that's still far too much energy for the landing gear to absorb. While the F-22 probably has the specifications to be able to land in the netting ashore, those are systems where the aircraft lands and then enters the gear a couple thousand feet later. In this instance, the jets have to slam down onto the deck immediately before the barricade. At the descent rates we're talking about, the gear would collapse, likely just piercing through the jet and damaging the integrity enough that it would start losing parts either before or as it entered the netting. The resulting conflagration could be catastrophic and would likely shut the carrier down for a significant period of time, though it would be interesting to see the damage the impact would have on the steel deck. If the deck was undamaged, we could likely see launches again in 12 to 24 hours. The crux is that no one has run this through the engineers and no sane commander would try it. Let's go to the part where Hibbets concludes. The other problem would be the tremendous force on the pilot during the crash. Unless everything was done exactly correctly, the impact would simply rend soul from body. No fuss, no muss, no dramatic last quip. Landing on carriers is tougher than I thought.
I disagree.
Gonky, I got a question.
Yeah.
Didn't Thomas Cruise show us that anything's possible?
Yeah. He sure did.
Next article. But I mean, it broke when it hit, and they still made the barrier.
Well, you bring up a good point too. Like so you can't. So like the Hornets that we flew at 204, like we couldn't just take off and fly out to the boat and land on the ship. You have to carrierize even the Hornet, right?
Yeah.
So shore base 150 psi on the tires, carrier 300. Right. There's all kinds of just like little things they do to carrierize the airplane. So I don't know that it's kind of a dumb article, but I'm very confident I could barricade an F-22.
Well, so let's go back to the premise. I am a traditionally trained Air Force pilot. I would not know how to make any of those radio calls. Like I would even know that's an option.
Good for you. Most of it is calm out.
No,
so there's no need to talk.
Like all that thing he said about, hey, can you guys rig the barrier? I wouldn't. No Raptor guy knows how to do that. No Raptor guy is going to call the boat. They're not even going to know how to find the boat.
No, I mean, if it was like World War III, like a scenario like this could play right. There's a great story like when when Vietnam was gone sideways for us. This one of the Vietnamese took a Cessna 172. His family, his dog, he loaded in this thing and just took off. Went out over the water, flew over a carrier, dropped a note, said, "Please let me land." And I mean, there's a famous picture of him landing with his family and his dog on the carrier. And the airplane's in the museum now, so it is possible.
You landed a Strike Eagle on a carrier. I landed a Viper on a carrier. What do you mean in DCS? DCS is the realest thing in the history of all things.
No, but I mean, my point is the scenario could play out. I could land. I'm confident I could do it. Now I think the airplane would be broken, very broken.
but you're not a Raptor pilot. You have to think of this from an Air Force guy's perspective. It didn't say could Gonky land an F-22. The Hornet pilot explains why you cannot.
Well, but you can. I think you can. I think you could barricade it. The plane would be dangerous, but I think it's possible. Even, and I do look, if you tell them, look, I'm sure the F-22 has a really nice flight path marker, velocity vector, whatever. I just tell them, dude, put that thing right before the barricade and
only if Wombat is the LSO.
Yeah, nah, Wombat would be like, nope, wave off. Nope, wave off. You're going for a swim.
We can't swim because the thing's a submarine. Canopy won't open. He dies.
Then gear up and on the beach, man. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Did you not listen to the scenario? It's too far from the beach. You can't get the canopy open. This is the only way to live.
Yeah, You know, I mean, there's actually a sad story of an A4 guy who this kind of scenario played out for him, man. The hook broke, his seat didn't work, and he flamed out right next to the carrier. And you know, I had his plaque on the wall. I was reading when I was younger. But yeah, anyways,
look, dude, if Dusty Crophopper can do
it, it's kind of, yeah. I'm not even sure why he wrote a thing about this, but it shouldn't be the F-22 can't land on a carrier, because anything can land on a carrier. It should be, you know, can an F-22 operate on the carrier? And that is no, of course not.
I did it in a Viper.
Dude, it's a game, man. Canceled.
Okay, Gonky. Sure, whatever.
I don't know. Whatever.
Plot twist, kids. Don't get your information on Quora. And for you OFPs, stop answering stupid stuff on Quora.
I actually like it. It's entertaining. So
yeah,
I mean, we all have our opinions, man. It's a peanut gallery.
We got one more of those. So
no facts.
Yeah. Mover set the standard for Raptor behavior. Let's see. Is Gonky flying really old stuff? Yes. Does it have an ADF?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Howdy fan joined as a fan of Lunabelle. Yeah, Lunabelle. She's a good dog. You don't need a fighter jet to do low passes. Aerosource in South America do them just to take off.
That's true, Philip. Those are some good videos.
I was in the ready room 20 minutes late figuring out how to join. Cut me some slack. Oh, thanks, Alan. Welcome. My only fear is that someone can hack a plane if it's fully autonomous.
Valid.
Yeah. I mean,
Valid.
Or jam the controller. Like you can Tron. You can put bad Trons. Sorry, I meant 2. You're not on fire. AA Ron says, oh,
thanks,
Douglas. That happened. I do
dueling buttons.
Yeah, stop it. What happens if ATC switches the arrival procedure up at the last minute with a drone? Same thing that happens. Literally the exact same thing that happens to a real pilot. There's a helmet fire, and they'll figure it out, and they'll put it in the FMS, and the FMS will go do it.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, it's probably easier because if ATC is the one sending it, then the drone goes and just.
I could see them having like drone routes.
I think, yeah, there'll be drone routes and drone fields. I don't think they're going to be operating into LAX. I think it's going to be, you know, what's that? Ontario? What's the cargo base outside of?
It is Ontario, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is Ontario.
It is.
That's where, or something similar. Like, I think it's going to be, you know, they might have to drive the 18-wheeler, but they're going to save the money from not having to pay Gonky's pension. Boomer Course. Thank you, Boomer.
Thanks, Boomer.
What is a czar, dude?
Zoltan? I don't know.
Remember Zoltan?
Hey, it must not be very big because he gave you 70 of them.
That's what she said. I want to fly a Ukrainian Su-25. That's like the least survivable aircraft in the war. Every video you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every video you see is one of them getting shot down. In my first month of flight with my CFI, we had an engine failure turning crosswind when near midair. Grateful I had them early. So it taught me situation awareness, keep an eye on the gauges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let your guard down. You didn't have them early. Like, it still could happen more. You could be like Wombat, and every time you fly, something happens. Dusty crop hopper. There you go. We're talking about that. You got 35 more czars.
It says South African currency.
Oh, okay.
Whilst mover strays him from above in an F-16 waiting for his turn. Radio calls. Carrier, this is mover. I have the ball. Mover out. That's too many words. I wouldn't even say that. Mover in. Questions. Thank you, Jensen. On board. Merry Christmas. Negative Ghost Rider. The deck is littered. No one can land a C-130 on a carrier. That happened.
Yeah, no, they can. I think he's saying like, oh, never mind. Go ahead, dude. I'm an idiot.
What do you mean you're an idiot?
Yes, they have landed a C-130 on the carrier. They looked at that as a possible C2 option.
Didn't they land a U-2 on one? When there's something with a U-2?
I vaguely remember, but I don't. For sure, the C-130. They actually have. You can watch that on YouTube. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, because they used it as a clip for Jag.
Did they?
TV show. Yeah. Boomer Core really wants you to have the czars. Look,
is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Check it out.
I've actually never seen that video. That's pretty. No hook.
He's going to be learned.
Is there a hook?
There's something. Doesn't look like it's doing very well though.
Well, dude, he probably has a ground speed of like 20 knots.
Isn't the wingspan a little wide to be doing this? Well, wouldn't it be hitting all the airplanes?
No other airplanes on the deck.
Where's the island?
So that he's just doing a touch and go. Because there's no hook.
It seems to just keep repeating too.
Yeah, I hate when that happens, when you watch a video that's repeating a bunch of times and you never... Oh, look, he does land. Look, there he is.
Does he trap?
Oh, he does have a hook.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow. And there's an island.
Dang. I just keep learning stuff.
Dude, we are educating ourselves.
Yeah.
The public.
Yep.
Justin says, how do you pilots interact with the senior NCOs and lower enlisted? Do they come to attention for you, and do you have constant authority over them? I say, hey, senior, what's going on today? Do you need anything?
Yeah, Justin. So so one of the things that we did in the Navy, which I don't know if they do much of this in the Air Force, was, I mean, I was a lieutenant 03 or captain in the Air Force, and I was in charge of some of the shops and maintenance. So I always had senior and junior enlisted guys who worked for me. And honestly, I just went down there to try to learn as much as I could about what it took maintenance wise to keep the airplanes flying. We all rotated through those jobs. You might spend a year in a job, and I learned pretty quick that senior NCOs, even all those guys, the maintainers down in the shops that I ran, were really good at their jobs, and there was nothing I was going to be able to do to go down there. And like, I wasn't going to come out down there with any new ideas. So I did my best to support the guys. And they honestly just wanted to learn about the flying side of it, right? Because they're turning wrenches all day. So, and the other crazy thing was, I was in my 20s. A lot of them were in their 20s. So it was, they're kind of like my friends. I mean, I rode dirt bikes then, and some of them rode dirt bikes. So I'd see them at the tracks. We'd hang out. There was no constant authority. I never, it's more of a team effort. We all played our part. And I realized not all commands were like that, but mine, the fleet tour, my first fleet tour, especially, it was very much team effort. And, I let the senior enlisted run the shops basically, because they were by far the smartest on everything aircraft maintenance wise. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved hanging out and learning down there.
Yeah. I would say no, they don't come to attention. I mean, you've got the UCMJ, but you really don't. I mean, it's not authority. You don't. It's the carrot or the stick, right? You get people to want to do stuff for you if you encourage them by being nice to them and removing obstacles for them to accomplish their goal. Otherwise, you're just a manager. You're not a leader.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like we had people get in trouble, do dumb stuff, which then you had to be bad cop a little bit. But at the end of the day, it was just we all had the same mission, so
yeah. All right, moving on. Douglas has the military pilot explains why fighter pilots can't fly a 172.
Given its simplicity, can a fighter pilot fly a Cessna 172 without training? Very nice picture of a CAP 172. After 2 tours in the Navy flying both the F4 and F-14, So among other aircraft and over 3,000 flight hours with an ATP, I decided one day to get checked out in a Cessna 172, which I had never flown, former U.S. Navy fighter pilot John Cheshire says on Quora. It was totally foreign to me. However, after turns, stalls, and touch and goes, my instructor said he would sign me off, but I really needed a lot more practice and training. I could not have agreed more. I was way out of my element. This was the first and last time I ever tried learning how to fly a 172. Cheshire concludes, TLDR, so yes, I could fly without any training, but not very well and not near to standards I was accustomed to. David Tussey, former U.S. Navy A-7 Corsair II pilot, recalls on Quora, possibly, but it would be extremely dangerous and very poor judgment. Military pilots know the key to safe flying is proficiency, knowledge of your aircraft's systems, and training. Lots of training, lots of practice. I have around 4,000 hours all jet, but I would not step inside a Cessna 172 without a training curriculum and an instructor pilot to teach me how to fly that airplane. It is a very different aircraft from the jets I flew, and despite being much lower performance, the 172 is perfectly capable of killing you when it impacts the ground. William Vaughn, Cessna 172 instructor, explains on Quora, well, as an instructor pilot at Boeing Field in Seattle, I was scheduled with a student who was due for a 2-year biennial flight review in a Cessna 172, some student. He was a U.S. Air Force captain who flew F-16s in Asia, but had been grounded for a few years, sort of, flying Predator drones in Afghanistan, though he would have been a bit rusty, not this dude, since the slowest airplane he'd ever actually flown was the supersonic T-38 Talon. He tended at first to roar down short final approach, flying at the T-38's 170 knots approach speed.
That's only if the flaps are broken. You should not be at 170 knots in a T-38 unless the flaps aren't working.
Oh, they list on BNE for the Cessna.
No, I mean the T-38. Okay. The T-38 doesn't fly at 170. Thanks, Doug. That's enough.
It doesn't fly that slow, right?
No, it flies. It's 140 knots.
Oh,
135.
Depends on the
gas. on the approach. It's definitely not 170 unless the flaps aren't working. So first of all, Mr. Tussey, former Captain Tussey, whatever Tussey, this is the second article we've read. I think
Well, I tell you, this article is very valid.
Well, it is valid. It's just
100%.
What is the trend of the old and retired Navy guys hanging out on Quora answer questions? Is it just the altruism? Is that really?
I don't know. I'm the one that put this article.
You take it away.
Well, and because it put a smile on my face, because I remember. So, I was a CFI for a little bit before I joined the Navy, and my first CFI job was out of Harry Cleaver Field in New Philadelphia, Ohio. And, I joined the Navy, and it's kind of a small town, and, they just, I flew Hornets, and, I was like a super pilot to my friends there. And I remember coming back after, I hadn't flown a Cessna in 4 years, maybe. And, my family wanted to fly. And I remember going to the instructor, and I was like, hey man, I need some laps. He's like, oh dude, you used to work here. You're a fighter pilot now. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And he's right. I took off in that, and there's something weird about flying under 100 knots. I did the same thing. I'm flying downwind I'm trying to, 140 knots in the Hornet, 50 knots is kind of what, my my eyeballs are used to. And so that's what I was trying to do. In my first landing, I floated. I mean, I had to go around, floated like halfway down the runway. So it's very valid. And I definitely, military jets they can accelerate really well. They can slow down really well. They can turn really well. So there's a lot of performance. Little Cessna 172, there's no performance. So like you cannot get yourself in any sticky situation and hope like the performance of the airplane is going to get you out of it, because it's not. So I learned pretty quick. It actually took more piloting skill to kind of relearn stick and rudder skills, like how to fly the little 172. I know it sounds crazy, but that's why every time I would come home, I would always get a lap in the pattern with whoever the CFI was there, because I was not I was not good the first couple attempts, and then I'd figure it out after that. But it's funny how your brain, you fly a fast jet for a while and that's what you get used to, right? So this article was relatively accurate.
Yeah, I mean, so I will disagree to an extent on the fast versus slow, because I used to do it back in 2021. I'd go from the T-38 to the helicopter. To me, the speeds didn't matter because my brain would just adapt to whatever I was doing. But what I do agree with is what you haven't flown, whether it's currency or ever, because that's the two things that you talk about, currency, but the article kind of talks about, could a guy or girl that has been flying Tomcats or whatever jump into a Cessna and not die? Yeah, probably wouldn't die. However, they wouldn't do it. I've got a buddy with Battle Scarred Motorsports. He's always sending me like, "Hey, I'm gonna go buy this airplane." I'm like, "Cool, have fun with that." He's like, "Hey, will you come with me and fly it? And then you can say something's wrong with it, and we'll do the price down and whatever." I'm like, "Dude, I've never flown that." He's like, "It doesn't matter. You're a pilot." I'm like, "No, that's not how it works.
Right.
Like, just because I'm a pilot doesn't mean, first of all, insurance will never sign off on that. But second, like I've got no experience in this thing whatsoever. I'll ball this thing up, because you need at least a familiarization flight to get yourself used to it. And it's wildly different, not just speeds, but approach angle. I mean, what's the difference? A T-38 really drug in. What's a Cessna do? More of that 3 to 3.5 degree, it's a steeper looking approach because the thing, it's a different flare. Airliner, those dudes are flaring 50 feet, and some of the bigger airlines, and you try to take that sight picture, especially when you're used to operating on big wide runways, and then you put it on a normal GA field. You've got that optical illusion. You've got all the sight pictures you're used to, and timing a flare is always tough, just in general. To go throw that into a Cessna, it is a recipe for disaster. And we don't, like T-38 or the Hornet or the Viper, you're not stalling to land. Like a Cessna, you're in the stall. Like, that's not how we land jets. We don't do that. We're more of that soft field landing kind of, flying it on. Yeah, power on. So it's just different. I would say it might be easier to go from the Cessna to the Hornet.
Yeah, 100%. I've told many Cessna pilots, I'm like, I could, if the engines were running in the runway, I could put you in it. You could do a lap without dying.
Yeah, but I don't know.
If it's an airplane, you have to treat it with respect. That's the moral.
Well, yeah, and I'm just kidding about the Quora thing, but it does seem like we keep getting these articles where they make an article out of Quora. And it's, just like they made an article out of what I said on my podcast. It's so funny when they're like, we quoted former Navy pilot
Gonky,
who said no military pilot can fly a Cessna.
That guy's an idiot.
Yeah. And then you'll get somebody, Monkey and Gonky reacting to it, calling him an idiot because former fighter pilot Gonky. Yeah. Rod Hartstock.
That's right.
Said,
Mombat.
Rod Hartstock with Mombat said that you can't fly the Cessna.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Next article that we have is about the MiG 41, which was actually kind of a cool. Is this me again? Am I going to crash my computer?
Oh boy.
Oh,
I got it.
Thank God. I don't trust me anymore.
Russia's Mach 5, I don't know what that's actually a picture of. Russia's Mach 5 MiG-41 fighter seems destined to be a failure. Russia's MiG-41 look like it will never fly, as it will never get the funding it needs to be a real success in any actual way. Is there a Russian fighter that can reach speeds of Mach 4 to Mach 5? That's what Russia wants for its 6th generation MiG-41 fighter. This proposed warplane checks the boxes on a wish list of 21st century attributes. Utmost stealthiness, ultra-high-speed engine or ramjet engine, the ability to fire and shoot down hypersonic weapons, lasers, and flying to near-space altitudes to destroy satellites. But alas, it will likely never fly. The MiG-41 is expected to take the place of the speedy and capable MiG-31 Foxhound by 2030. The first flight of the MiG-41 will be in 2025 if designers and engineers from McCoy and OKB have their way. The MiG-41 project is codenamed the PAK-DP, or Prospective Air Complex for Long-Range Interception. The proposed mega high-speed interceptor would easily enable air superiority over other fighters if its specifications can be believed, but this program is still in experimental research and development mode. It's a future technology demonstrator at best. Little public commentary has been offered by the manufacturer. In 2018, McLean Director General Ilya Tarasenko said the MiG-41 was entering the experimental design stage. So far, the MiG-41 is more vaporware than reality. And they go on to discuss problems with high-speed flight, in which the airframe and canopy would require specialized designs because of the heat. It would need specialized weapons that can be air-launched at that speed. It's difficult to foresee a scenario in which the MiG-41 emerges from just hype and propaganda in the near future. Russia already has its hands full with the Su-57. The program is assuming a level of technological advancement that does not exist. And the Russians don't have a whole lot of money because they're fighting a war in Ukraine.
Yeah, it always comes down to money, but the technology I thought was pretty cool. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, was because we just finished talking about GE's hypersonic engine.
Yep.
If the Russians or Chinese steal it, next thing you know, this thing's a reality, because the tech is, expensive and half the battle to develop. Going after hypersonic weapons, that's the buzzword today, is hypersonic weapons being air launched, and hypersonic weapons this and hypersonic weapons that. And we've talked about that with the MiG-31 using hypersonic missiles in the Ukraine war. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, you're fighting a war of attrition that's very expensive. There's embargoes against your country. So, trade is not what it used to be, and you don't have any buyers. This is just like the Su-75. The Su-75, they were like, oh, it's a clean sheet design, and we've got digital designs, and it's going to be here. But, we haven't seen anything. They haven't flown one yet. So this hasn't even made it that far. But if it did, shooting down satellites and shooting down other hypersonic weapons, that's pretty viable.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not, I mean, call it a fighter, but it looks like they're looking to create basically an interceptor, right?
Yeah, MiG-31. Yeah, it's a new MiG-31. It's
right. They want a really high, really fast flyer, not necessarily anything that's going to, be in any kind of turning fight. And I would argue the Russians have usually been pretty good at doing that. I mean, they got their stuff. I mean, they got a lot of high, fast flying stuff, compared to what we do. The MiG-31 is that weapon right now, and it's pretty old.
Well, we just talked about that too, how they upgraded the MiG-31 and had all the GWAS stuff. And the question I have, though, is a non-stealthy, what kind of radar are you going to need for it to even take advantage of all that stuff, right? There's a lot of tech that you're going to have to develop alongside of it.
That's true. But I mean, if you're, in the Maranosphere doing Mach 5, who's going to touch you? Forget about intercept and escort, right? If that thing is coming at the carrier group,
no, you're not. You're shooting it down.
Right.
I mean, you're looking into the cons, going. But that's the thing. You're going to see it. You're going to see it visually.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you're above the cons at this point.
Maybe. Yeah. Of course. And it's going so fast. I mean, yeah, the high fast flyer is always challenging. I mean, that was one of my last Red Air flights in the Hornet, if you want to call it high and fast, and I ran down 2 Super Hornets. And gave him a bad day. So that's a tough one, because I mean, as well as as well as I do, I mean, we're a high fast. I can't even imagine Mach 5. That would take your timeline in
50 miles a minute.
Yeah, that's wild. You know, I mean, I don't even know what the timeline would look like. You know,
but like the guy said, it's vaporware right now, right?
That's true.
As far as we know, we know, because we don't know. No. We don't know what they have. I mean, the Su-57 is kind of really all they have. That's next gen. That's actually flying, and really, what have we seen? So, I don't know, but it's cool tech, but it's
at this point it's just shallow intel on the MiG-41.
It's mediocre levels of intelligence.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah, I think that should be our thing now. We're mediocre intel. Anyway, hey Doug, you got something for this? This is your stuff, Gonky. You wanted to talk about this Airbus tail strike.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, sorry. No, so apparently this I didn't. Have you ever flown out of an uncontrolled field?
Breathe, Gonky, breathe. Go ahead.
Have you ever flown out of an uncontrolled field?
In an airliner or in real life?
Airliner.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, apparently this was an uncontrolled field in Colorado, and these guys were taking off, and they got a TCAS alert. Sounds like past, rejection speed, and
there's stuff before that, right? So they're going one direction, and they're saying, any traffic in the area, please advise. And then this King Air is coming the opposite direction, saying, I'm traffic in the area, I'm going to land anyway. And he's like, well, good luck with that. And then I think the
TCAS went off though, right?
Yes, because they were 180 out.
Right.
So one guy's doing approach to land,
right?
And the airliner guys are like, whatever traffic, we're taking off. And
right.
It's the standard uncontrolled field where there's a disagreement about the runway in use, and nobody's communicating that they're taking the runway and taking off while the other plane is there. And I think as they're taking the runway to roll, the TCAS goes off and they're above rejection speed, so they have to reef the nose back, get on the limiter, and whatever it is the Airbus does.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I've I don't think I've taken off in the airliner from an uncontrolled field, but there's a couple of captains I fly with. They always turn the TCAS on early just to take a look around, and it's probably a good habit. And I always, previous to seeing this, I was like, yeah, that's dumb. But now I can kind of, I can see it. I guess I didn't realize that they were in comms, because I thought there was a little miscommunication, like SA wise, because why would an airliner take off on a King Air?
It was because they did not know. No one put together that they were using different runways.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
When they interviewed but they were talking. They were doing position reports. It's just I don't think they necessarily figured out that, because who would intentionally do this?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And if it happened, at 100 knots, well, depending on how long the runway is. If it happened at 50 knots, you could reject the takeoff and be fine. But these guys were committed, and they, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like when they certify airplanes, they do this, right? They'll pull the stick all the way back to what is it called? The unstick speed?
I don't know.
The lowest speed that it'll get airborne. Yeah. So having I fly the A320 on occasion, and I can't imagine because I'm sure I'm sure it was yelling at them, screaming pitch, because that thing, I mean, look at it when he's
he drags the tail. Luckily nobody was hurt. I don't know if I didn't see if they continued to their destination or if they declared an emergency, went somewhere else.
Yeah, they landed because that last picture,
yeah,
I can't remember where they landed, but that last picture showed it boogered up the tail quite a bit. And of course you're worried about the the pressurization problem.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
Yeah, that would be pretty wild, because those guys had that thing parked. That was a high alpha pass.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, is when you intentionally, so you got to 16,000 feet, so they're arguing.
We'll be pay protected, man. Let's take this thing.
Hold on. Let's talk about Amelia's Columbia 350 for a second. He's based in Colorado. He loves hiking and skiing and camping.
Look, there's a blue car.
And she's got a Columbia 350.
There's a blue car mover.
I'm just saying. Throw that out there. All right. Well, good talk. That was a good topic there. Thanks for bringing that up. All right, moving on to the Army. They're having a TikTok mutiny. Apparently, Army soldiers have taken to the tiki-taki. Doug, do you have that?
I do not have that.
Oh, great.
I don't know if it's because it wasn't there or because I missed it.
No,
it's there.
Oh, yeah. It's way at the end where I didn't see it.
I got it. If as long as it doesn't crash my system, I've got it.
I'll be standing by.
Oh, no, it doesn't like me. Yeah, it doesn't like my ad blocker.
I'm surprised that there it is, dude. There you go.
It didn't allow it for very long.
Paywall.
Oh, the paywall. Everybody hates the paywall.
Mover, you better subscribe.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Hold on. Why won't it?
I looked at it and it's pretty. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're pretty critical on issues in the military, but I mean,
views are our own and do not represent the Department of Defense.
Correct. And I'm not going to be in uniform, like out in the field
or on TikTok. All right, I got it.
TikTok. Yeah.
I got it. All right. So the exclusive from the Daily Mail: U.S. Army faces TikTok mutiny as Gen Z recruits whine about low pay, poor food, and fitness tests while on base in uniform. Brazen posts represent audacious challenge to top brass amid recruitment crisis. One of the posts by military influencer Anthony Laster slams Army life, says he spent whole day watching TikToks while supposedly fighting the Taliban. The U.S. Army is facing a TikTok mutiny as Gen Z recruits are taking to social media to whine about the things I just said. That's just a repeat. Laster from Chicago, I used to work in Chicago, an old department store, has more than 1 million followers on TikTok and made the public comments in uniform while on mission in the desert. In another post, he claimed he spent his whole day watching TikToks while supposedly fighting. Are we fighting the Taliban? Is that still a thing? I thought we gave up on that. It gives a woeful impression of America's fighting forces to potential recruits, which is likely to cause further animosity toward TikTok from critics, among other things. Politicians from both sides have concerns about platforms linked with China and accuse it of pushing subversive anti-U.S. propaganda. There's a picture of the man saying the pay sucks. If you see this is your sign not to join the military. The Army expects to end up about 15,000 short of its 65,000 recruits for 2023. Navy has the same problem. There's criticism about woke and the drag shows. Army's in the middle of a 5-year plan. Around 23% of soldiers are fat, like Amy. And disgruntled. This is why I don't get to read the articles. Now, disgruntled rank and file officers have found an outlet on the tiki-taki to advise considering signing up to think again, according to videos from thedailymall.com. Among the criticisms, young soldiers complain about having to remain below a certain weight. Harsh treatment from their superiors. Terrible. You did not give me my trophy today. And having to perform menial tasks such as mopping dirt on the battlefield. What did they think the Army was? Like, did you not watch Stripes? One young recruit, Shamar Williams, in uniform and appearing to be on base, looks into the camera, tells us 34,000. That's it. Gonky's got more than that. His top 5 reasons not to join the military. Echoing Laster's grievances, Williams bemoans, "We do not get paid enough to perform the mission that is tasked to us. Lack of autonomy and sacrifices in family life. According to federal data, more than 20,000 active duty troops are on food stamps to make ends meet." You sure about that? Anyway, I know you think also adds his list of complaints about the things military attempts to sell to potential recruits, notably schooling. Now, I know you think, whoa, that is a benefit, Williams explains, but there are requirements you have to meet first to get to that schooling. So if you're thinking of joining because of schooling, just go to school because it's free, Sergeant Barber, 25, filming himself in uniform, admits that he has already been counseled because of a TikTok video. Nonetheless, tells us 68,000 short of being cool. Before you head to the recruiting office, watch this video. If you don't like your freedom being suppressed a little, not really, then I wouldn't join the military. As well as cautioning against fairness of getting rich in the Army, Barbary also says life in the military is mopping those floors 99% of the time rather than more combat. Even if you deploy, you probably won't see combat today in this world, so if that's your mindset, don't join. One young recruit could only be identified as Gamage from the name on her uniform. Gamage? Don't join the Army until you're mentally prepared to be told you're going over or underweight. Treat it like you're not a good soldier if you can't run 2 miles in 18 minutes or less. Oh, and you can't get injured either, because then that's your fault. Health is a barrier to recruitment as well as insurers an issue once recruits are enrolled. More than half, 56%, of American 18 and 25-year-olds are fat or obese, according to Johns Hopkins, meaning they can enlist. Fitness within the Army is also at a crisis point, with General terming it a threat to national security. Injury and healthcare are also concerned for young recruits who identified himself as Chul. He advises against joining the Army because this is very physically demanding. The Army don't give an F if you F up your better PC, the PT, personal trainer. Concluding, in the military, you're their B. If they want to do something to you, you're going to do it. Like, did they? Who? What now? And now there's this totally irrelevant diatribe about putting TikTok on government devices, which has absolutely nothing to do with this story. I don't even know why they spend 4 paragraphs talking about it, because these are not being done on government phones. But I digress. That's the story. Gonky, what do you have? How'd I do?
Good. I couldn't tell what country the language you were speaking, like you're trying to simulate, but no, it was good.
Whiner. Gen Z. Whatever the Gen Z whining was is what I was going for.
So, I watch these TikTok videos. I don't have TikTok, but I watched them because you sent them to me. Anyways, it's easy to get mad at the Gen Z, but it's kind of like Wombat was saying last week. I mean, and Mover can attest this. There's like tons of young kids that are just kicking butt, right? And they're really good at their job. They show up and they do their thing, and they're proud to serve, right? So what you're seeing here is a snapshot of people who obviously didn't join to serve. I mean, I think we've talked about this before. I wanted the opportunity to have a chance to fly fighters in the Navy, and I would have done it for free. They would have had to feed me because I like to eat, but I would have done it for free. So, the whole complaining about the pay, I didn't even know what officers made. Now, I will say this. I do think there's a disparity. I think the disparity is too large in pay between officer and enlisted. I think they should pay their enlisted more. That's just my own personal opinion. But I think this is just a snapshot of some very entitled people who, quite honestly, shouldn't be in the military. I mean, you should not be in uniform, doing what these people are doing, because you know what, they're hurting the force, right? And politics aside, it's your brothers and sisters that are serving alongside of you that you are hurting. So, in my mind, all of these LORs for everyone, right, Mover? I mean, why not?
Too soon. So, the problem with social media, boy, it's going to sound hypocritical because here we are on social media. But the problem with social media is it gives everyone a voice, even people that probably shouldn't have one. People that are stupid should not advertise that fact to the entire world. Sometimes it's better to just not.
Yeah.
And so the problem is you have a short form system of TikTok, which is pure cancer. I've said this so many times. I think it is part of the degradation
100%.
of just in general of maybe not society, but social media, because people have these 15 to 30 second attention spans, and because all you're doing is watching, and it applies to reels and shorts and all that stuff too. But TikTok's the one that started it. When you give that dopamine hit, everything has to be done in 15 to 30 seconds. And you lose context, and you also lose a little bit of your common sense. So when somebody is complaining in 15 to 30 seconds, all they get is the complaint. Like, these people may have valid complaints. There is a possibility that they may have like a whole scenario that's valid, but all we're going to see is the 15 to 30 seconds. And all we're going to see is the idiots dancing and the idiots doing trends and doing all the stuff that they need to go viral and with the hashtags and all that stuff, because that is how the app is designed, for that quick dopamine hit, move on. Probably as by design by the Chinese in
100%.
order to do that. Because if you look at Chinese TikTok, they don't have any of this stuff. It's all about education and science and technology and engineering and mathematics. It's not what we have, which is twerking and dancing and looking like an idiot and saying stupid stuff and going on and talking about your command. It is a violation of DOD, I think 5400.17, to even do this. It's that's it. Like, this is a violation of a DOD instruction, because you're not supposed to appear in uniform. Number one, it's good order and discipline. You can't get up there and disparage stuff. Now, granted, there are outlets for doing this. I mean, there's whistleblower protections. So if there really is an issue, then you go to the appropriate channels and you file the appropriate complaint. You file an IG. But my point being is, what they're doing is not new. In the history of the Army, you've had people complaining about every little thing, especially people that didn't get what they signed up for, or what they thought they signed up for. The issue I have is it's on TikTok, and people are doing it in uniform on TikTok.
Here's a thought: if you're too fat to pass the PT test, stop being on TikTok all day and maybe go out and do a couple laps around the track.
Yeah.
There's a thought.
Well, I mean,
the statistician in me is compelled to point out that there were 45,000 people recruited into the U.S. Army in 2022, and this article is based on 3 TikToks.
That's true.
This represents the opinion of 0.0006% of that year's recruits.
But
the problem is they have all these followers, right?
Right. They are important because
influencers.
It's because of their influencer status, which, again, when you give voice to the stupid. Hold on, I'm trying to get the Lunacam up while you guys are talking there.
Must be bedtime.
It must be 9:00. Yeah, she's right here.
Has anybody checked whether there's any positive TikToks about the Army?
Oh, it won't work. Damn.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude, you've got that guy that we've talked about this. We got that recruiter guy that's out there doing the ASMR and all that stuff, and he's trying to reach out to recruit people and all this. There is good stuff. Social media, I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I said it's all bad, because we're here on social media, and I've taken my fair share of heat for it. But there's good. I just think that you have to, with great power comes great responsibility in some cases. Like, it's okay to...
a loaded gun, man. You got to know how to use it.
Right. And it's okay to point out things and to say it, but you have to do it tactfully. You have to do it in a way that does not make it worse. I mean, I would probably never say 5 reasons never to join the Air Force. At least not in uniform.
No.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It gives a disproportionate influence to a very negative and very, very minuscule opinion.
Yep. I don't know. We got one more article, and then we'll get to all the questions, because I see they've piled up, but I wanted to get through our stuff. I think, Doug, I got this one too. You want me to do that one?
Pretty sure you've got that one. That seems like your style.
Yeah, I got it. Dude, we got bad news, Gonky.
Dude, hey, we didn't do the voice one either, right?
We got some voice messages too. This one might go a little long tonight. Hope you're not busy. Dude, the last Chevy Camaro has been built. Again. In what was perhaps a sad milestone for muscle car fans, the Chevrolet Camaro unit rolled off the assembly line on December 14, 2023 as scheduled, making the permanent sunsetting of the Camaro 6th generation. Final units of the Chevrolet convertible were produced on November 22nd as scheduled, but the coupe missed its 7 December deadline. And it's provided a statement in it of the 2024 Chevy Camaro production and that of the Camaro. It's a passion product. It has developed a fan base across the world, has brought people in the Chevrolet dealerships for generations. Confirmed it will make a comeback at some point. has provided no time frame. And then it goes on to talk about they are trying to go to a more EV
there goes your passion product.
Yeah. So we brought this up just because, number one, we figured it would be cool to talk about cars, but also I've owned Camaros.
Yeah.
Gonky, you've owned Camaros. I wanted to buy another Camaro.
Dude, it's the Ensign Mobile.
Dude, you know,
Right?
I mean, probably half the enlisted people on the TikToks will probably have some with 24% interest rate.
And the
so,
V6.
Yeah, and a V6. But dude, I mean, it's American muscle.
Yeah.
And there's no replacement. I don't get.
Oh, they're gonna replace it with fairy dust and rainbows under
something without any soul whatsoever.
An electric mid-sized SUV.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. It'll probably go 0 to 60 in Mach knot, but it'll be so boring. Who cares? Like,
who cares? Exactly.
Rumble the ground.
Exactly.
Like, what's NASCAR gonna do? They don't have a Camaro.
No. Yeah.
Dude, the coolest thing was last year, and I think they're coming back this year. Le Mans Garage 56. That car, that Camaro, just tore up the field, and it sounded awesome. It was like America, dude. It was like you could hear the screaming eagles and the freedom as it passed the little hippie hypercars, you know. And you're like, "This is America." And then we're like, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of it because Mover wanted a ZL1 1LE, but he's never gonna get one now."
Dude, I mean, I got commissioned in 02, and I remember coming out of, and that's the first time they stopped making the Camaro, and there were a ton of them. Like we were all in API, and it seemed like everybody had a Z28 or
I had an SS,
one Z28.
I had an 02 SS.
Yeah, or if you weren't as smart, you had a Mustang. But I like my buddy, my buddy Bags. I went with him, man. We went down to the Chevy dealership, and he bought himself a 6-speed manual 02 Z28. It was awesome, dude. So yeah, it's sucks they're getting rid of it again. You know, what are young fighter pilots going to buy?
Well, what's anybody going to buy? I mean, so Dodge is getting rid of SRT. So there's not going to be any, like, the Hellcats are gone. Ford's the only one left. They got the Dark Horse Mustang, but then you have to drive a Ford.
Yeah, dude.
No. Which I will if they'll sponsor me an Arco. Just in case anybody's wondering, I will completely sell out if Ford is willing to make me one of their drivers. So,
yeah,
just so you know, I can be bought. All right, we got some voice messages. Any reattacks, Douglas? Are you sad about this too? You got anything on the Camaro?
I buy 25-year-old cars, so it'll take. It'll take a while before it matters to me.
We've got 2 voice messages.
This is cool.
If I remember how to get to them. And here we go.
Hello to the Doug Presents Mover and Gonky show. I was wondering about the FA-50. I read recently that Malaysia had bought some of those from South Korea. I didn't know if anyone had a take on that. Maybe Gonky. Love the show. Keep it up. And I appreciate your attention to mental well-being.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call in. Those are always fun. Yeah, the Malaysians buying the K-50. To me, it makes sense. I mean, when I was there, they were operating 3 frontline fighters, MiG-29s, the C-30 and the F-18. And for such a small country, that's a tall order, a very expensive order. And the kind of way they would run their Air Force, they don't exclusively do this, but like we would have guys that would go, they would get out of their flight school, and then their first grade jet would be like the Hawk or the F-5, and they'd fly that thing for a while, and then they would come up to either C-30 or F-18. So it was an operational tour for them, but it was just another way for them to get their guys a little more experience. So I see the Ka-50 kind of fitting that intermediate. I don't want to say trainer. I mean, it has, it's a combat aircraft. It can be used as a trainer as well, but I think it's a good choice for Malaysia because it's going to be a much cheaper airplane than if they went out and bought, you know, 4th, 5th gen, whatever. So I think it's a good move on their part. I mean, we'll see. Seems like good airplane. It's got a good engine. And yeah, that's my take on it.
Is that the aircraft that Lockheed? Is that the Lockheed was the competitor for the T7 and didn't win? So they're trying to like make it a CAS platform or a lightweight fighter kind of platform.
Yeah, it looks F-16 ish. Yeah, South Korean.
If it's that one, then yeah, because Lockheed had taken it. It was their direct competitor to the T7, the Boeing Saab product. Didn't make the cut, so then they're selling it as the FA-50 to others. I thought it was a cool airplane. I mean,
I'd fly it.
I think it's a little 9G jet too. I think it's pretty full up. So
yeah,
cool. Well, thank you, Gonky. And now here we go.
Hey guys, it's BC here. This week I don't call in another crazy question, but I wanted to take the opportunity to congratulate you all with reaching the 25 episodes milestone. That's over 50 hours of banter, great stories and analysis, and some really solid work in the mental minutes department. We tend to forget to look back and celebrate what has been accomplished, and with this voice message I hope to mark a moment to do just that and reflect. I know I speak on behalf of many when saying thank you for the last 25 episodes, and we are really looking forward to many more milestones like this to come. You guys are really our Top Guns. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's cool. Let's get through these chats that have piled up. Joe says, you've probably answered this question before. What was your experience been with negative G's? Only when I'm avoiding something. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, everything.
It's very effective. Very effective to keep you from getting gunned, but it's not comfortable.
Also illegal.
No, it's not, dude. It is a valid tactic in the Navy, and nobody told me you weren't allowed to do it in the Air Force. But
also frowned upon in the Air Force.
But it works.
11214. You know, the regs that you got to read, whatever. Who reads the manuals?
Lexi. Game.
Oh, dude. For legal reasons, this is a joke.
That's right, dude. That's right.
Yeah. More czars. Comrade Mover, greetings. We have 24 Grippins down here, but only 12 fly. Why is that? Do they keep the rest for backup? I don't know. Man. Simulator's license expired for a year. That sucked. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be, I don't know.
Mover would fly the Grippin.
I'd fly the Grippin too. Tried to fly the Grippin. Nobody wants to let me fly a Grippin. Josie says, can we try to land a C-17 on a carrier in DCS? We'll land anything on the carrier in DCS, sir.
Yeah, probably end up in the hangar bay.
Tim gives you $5.
Thank you, sir.
Sam says, in today's world, and we're in your 20s again, would you join the military and do it all over again? Love the show. Yes.
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah. It's an abusive relationship. I know, like, if I knew what I know now, I would still do it, because you cannot replace the people, the experiences. You can't replace that. I mean, even having the bad neck back and
it sounds dumb, but you know, like when I was in my 20s, I think Mover can relate. Like, I just wanted to try to be the best at something. I don't know. It sounds crazy or arrogant, whatever. Like in my mind, you know, it's like, hey, I want to be a pilot. Okay, well, what's the top rank? And I just wanted the opportunity. And I was very thankful I was born in a country that could allow me to do that. And I think I would still have that same motivation today, because even back then, I mean, politics were going on back then. And I didn't care. You know, it was something I wanted to do. So I don't know.
Justin says totally different military here from the Army. Yeah. Again, as Doug pointed out, small sample size.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have still the same amount of hard chargers. What?
This is related to the question about Grippins. It's maintenance issue.
Oh, yeah.
They only signed a contract for 12 of them.
Okay.
There you go.
Just checking in with that one.
Dobbix, thank you, Douglas. How do you Navy Air Force pilot view the guys that go fly on demo teams?
Like Thunderbirds or Blue Angels? I always have that scene from Pearl Harbor where Ben Affleck's like, I don't want to, do loops and rolls. I'm a combat pilot. That's how I think.
Didn't you do loops and rolls though?
Not in a demonstration team. I
You
was
were
a
on the
solo
demo
act.
team.
I was a solo act.
Yeah, but you still did loops and rolls.
Solo act. And I preferred the combat stuff more. So,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, my buddy was a Thunderbird. I thought he was cool. He got to shake Obama's hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Shook his hand.
He checked it. Shook his hand.
It's true. True story. Let's cancel Cora. Okay. Energy is key. I find it difficult to believe a fighter pilot cannot fly a Cessna. I didn't say he can't fly.
Yeah,
it's
right.
just you just can't hop in Grand Theft Auto style and be like, I'm going to make this thing.
Right.
It's just you need a little bit of training. And the difference is a fighter pilot knows his limitations.
Oh, you got to know your limitations.
You got to know your limitations. Instructor Lester drops flaps and hangs into a headwind with no ground speed, then starts flying backwards. Can your F-16 do that? In a hurricane.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, would you air refuel from a drone tanker?
Sure.
Does it have gas? I'd probably rather that because then they don't
Yeah.
turn off the autopilot and start.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey Gonky, remember when your internet wouldn't allow you to do this?
I know. Yeah. No issues anymore, man. I don't know. It's weird.
Sir, I fly F-35s. This is 172, not $1 over 60K. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark says, Merry Christmas, y'all. Mover, I've become a fan of your book, specifically the Spectre series. Oh, we're not allowed to talk about books. Do you have any plans to release them on Audible? They used to be. And then the narrator was not great. So I need to get a new narrator. I've just been lazy and haven't been doing that. Gonky, I'm a fan of yours too. They make great stocking stuffers.
Thanks, Mark. Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Franklin, we can argue all day about 6th gen jet, but no later than the 7th gen will be unmanned. Hypersonic aircraft plus human mass. It'll probably be some hybrid of that. Yeah. Right. Do you think the speculated SR-72 will have a payload? No, because of the two letters SR.
Yeah.
It won't be an SR-72 if it's got a payload. We just talked about this. We can argue all day about the 6th gen. Why? How many times did you post this? Deep mediocre intel.
Valid.
Dad was a Navy diver. Navy diver. It's Holy Diver. Holy Diver. He didn't have no TikTok.
Yeah.
South Africa? Time. Mopping dirt is nice. My buddies in the Marines is painting rocks. All right. If a TikTok is enough for you not to join, you weren't cut out for it in the first place.
Valid.
Yeah. I thought DoD were banned from using it. No, they're banned from using it on government phones, which no one was doing anyway. Because they can't really ban you. I mean, I guess they could, but they don't. This is getting sad. Okay. Runner up a stand. I think we're just that far behind. As a 53-year-old Army vet, 3 words, suck it up.
Yeah.
Is complaining get them more views on social media? Probably all the twerking. Mover is a narc. Kids use TikTok. Hail China. Jeez. Look at the content push to Home Nation STEM. Yep. That's exactly what I was saying. Yep. There's a lot of edits on TikTok that do make the military look good. Yeah. If the DoD would allow it,
right.
I mean, it's the other side of that. Right. We're our own worst enemies because we censor the people that are trying to help.
Right. Exactly.
Like always. Yeah. Cyber Marrow. It's like that Mustang Mach-E that's not really a Mustang.
That thing's terrible.
Wombat's buying one. A Luna. Which, by the way, if you do subscribe, you get the little Luna, and there's a F-18, and then there's a me.
There you go.
Emojis. So you get those as well. BC said it perfectly. Yeah, see? The Mover and Gonky show. It doesn't show up when I do this, though. Here. And start my new job at the Sheriff's Office in Florida. Both your channels kept me entertained and motivated while I sat around at home. Be safe.
Yep.
Keep your head on a swivel. So anyway, you ready to do the mental health minute? Are we doing the mental health minute tonight?
Yeah, it's up to you, man.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I don't really have a great monologue for this other than in life, we like to compare ourselves because that's how we figure out where we are, right? If we didn't have the ability to compare ourselves to others, we'd probably just sit there and spin our wheels, and because you're operating in a vacuum. You need to know bad to know good, all that stuff. You got to have something to compare yourself to. However, sometimes we compare ourselves without context, and we will sit there and say, well, in my career, I'm not as good as Gonky, for example. I'm not, I don't have the quals that he had, or I didn't get to do this in my career, or personal life. You compare yourself to somebody else and say, well, I don't have that family and I should have one by this age, or I should be at this point in my life because of X, Y, and Z, because I'm looking at other people. And the problem, though, is that when you do that, you're comparing yourself out of context, because you are an individual. You're one person who has a unique story and has a unique timeline, and it's very specific to you. So if you get to the point that you're in and you're trying to compare yourself to somebody that's in a totally different point, you don't know the struggles that they did to get where they're at. You don't know what it took to get there. You don't know whether they're even happy where they are, because they could be comparing themselves to you. It's the whole grass is greener kind of thing. So when we say comparison is the thief of joy, it is, because remember we talked about living in the moment and just being present? That's kind of what it boils down to, is because you have to be able to have that gratitude and be able to be present and be able to just go, hey, I appreciate what I have, not what I think I should have because of what somebody else is doing, because they're not living your story. You're living your story, and it's unique to you, not what other people think it should be or what you think it should be based on what other people are doing. And before I hand it off to Gonky, I will make my pitch. If you are struggling with something, get help. Talk to somebody. Talk to a friend. Use your wingman. Use the assets available to you. 988 or 988 rather. There are mental health counselings, military family life counseling, military one source, your chaplain, even medical professionals, law enforcement. If it gets to that point, reach out. Do not make a temporary problem into a permanent problem. There's always light on the other side, and life is worth living, and we don't want you to see you suffer through this. There's ways to get help. But Gonky, over to you.
Yeah, Mover. I mean, you hit all the highlights. I mean, I to add, I would just say, if you're spending your time looking at what everybody else is doing, you really are missing the blessings that are around you, that are in your life. And like you said, somebody may be killing it professionally, but their home life is in shambles, right? So it's always, and with social media, it's real easy for people to just show the good. Right. So it's really skewed, so, and that's, people who are looking at TikTok, Facebook, all this social media stuff. It's like, oh, look how awesome this person is. My life. Why isn't my life like that? Why isn't my life like that? Right. And, but behind the screen, everything, on the screen, everything is good, but behind the scenes, maybe not. So, you bring up a good point, and, you should be paying attention to what are your goals and aspirations for you, yourself, your family, right? It's like my son, right? We're out riding dirt bikes, and for a 5-year-old kid, he can ride the wheels off his dirt bike. I mean, it's pretty incredible, but he's got a bad habit of looking around. And I'm like, son, you got to pay attention. Focus on where you're going. And enjoy the ride. It's real easy to get sidetracked. If your head is on a swivel, looking at what's going on around you instead of, where you're going. So, everybody does it. Because like you said, Mover, we're all trying to find out kind of, it's kind of like, you throw your dog into a room with other dogs, they're all going to try to figure out the hierarchy, right? It's kind of a natural thing. Not that we're dogs, but yeah, everybody does it. But just, you just have to realize that, okay, so-and-so is doing pretty good. I'm going to have to do better, but life isn't too bad where I'm at. So that's all I got. I mean, Doug, what do you think, man?
Well, I was doing some deep intel background reading while you were talking, and I discovered that psychologists have been talking about this since a long time ago. Pivotal studies were done in 1942 on the influence of what would then not have been called social media. But the upshot of it is that it's an innate drive in humans to compare ourselves to others, because basically that's what we grew up doing during evolution. But we're used to comparing ourselves to others that are relevant. We grew up in small groups and tribes and families, and we keep saying things about social media, but this is a particularly good point. Now the reference group is infinite. And as you guys said, you don't know how relevant that reference group is. If you're comparing yourself to other people in your tribe, you're comparing yourself to the right people. But if you're comparing yourself to someone on TikTok, who knows?
You should be comparing yourself to who you were yesterday.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
You to improve, you need to compare to where you were and look at where you're going, because you're not on the same path as even somebody in your peer group sometimes. So, anything else to add?
No, man. I think that pretty much sums it up.
All right. We'll wrap this up. Alan as a cow. That's cool. Franklin says, I think you'd make a good recruiter for the Air National Guard. Give Gonky your 2 weeks notice.
Fired.
Yeah.
Tom, thanks, man.
Somebody always cares.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
Can I indefinitely send these and keep you awake? Dude, you're going to run out of czars.
I don't know. I think czars is
going to be a made man in wherever this is. Someone who's going to be graduating college at 25, which I know isn't super old, but I feel ancient next to the 17 or 18-year-olds ITA for. It's a difficult but important message to internalize. Yes.
Yeah. Wait till you're 45.
Yeah, but look at your life experience.
Yeah, man.
Look at where you are. It just depends. That's why it depends. Even tactically, when you're flying, you have to be careful not to compare yourself to a situation that doesn't even apply. What's the actual situational awareness telling you? What's the battle space look like? Am I on timeline? Well, I don't know. It depends on my certain situation. Just like, Doug, we talk about driving race cars, especially endurance racing. You can be comparing yourself to these lap times and you're not even in the same class.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm not even racing this guy. Why am I caring about this person? Oh, he passed me. Yeah, he's in the exhibition class.
That's their hot driver. They have one of it. We have 4 guys who are 2/3 as fast as their guy. Right.
Yeah. Or, like iRacing, right? Well, why are they so much faster? It's because they're wearing down their tires. Yeah. How many times in iRacing, Doug, you're a master at this, where it's a longer race. And, somebody is burning it up with lap times. And you're like, why are they running away from me? And then 10 laps later, you're passing them because they have nothing left. I mean, they've used up the whole car.
That is so. Frame of reference really matters.
Reese says y'all make more than me, but at least probably not right now.
Yeah.
At least I contribute. Thank you. And he says, I got czars for days.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah,
czar. Gonky's going to be a millionaire czar.
Can't wait.
Czar Lord. All right. It is so late. Luna has already given up on me. She left. She came in. She left. I couldn't get the camera working. So sad. I didn't pre-flight it very well.
Internet. We got to work on your system, dude.
I know. It's because of the poverty.
Is that they call it these days, a system? I don't know. That was what we called it. And then, no. Okay.
My AOL 3.5 is it's not doing
I love
great.
it. I love it.
All right. Well, Gonky, anything else to add tonight?
No. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us and sticking around. We kind of experiment with things, and we appreciate the support. It's awesome.
Hopefully it's working out. It seems like this membership thing might be
we'll see.
Cool thing. Douglas, anything to add?
I have nothing to add.
Thank you as always. Show. Yeah, thanks as always. All right. Well, we may see you next Monday. We may not. Depends on Gonky. He told me yes, and now he's telling me no. So
depends on my leadership.
He's got to run it through the approval process, and I will not compare myself to him because as an army of one, I don't have the same.
You've already conversed with yourself and decided
man structure that Gonky has. So we are in separate paths.
Yes.
Mine's much sadder. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.